On day 1, I spawned in as a medieval knight. And look at that, I already have iron gear and 10 hearts. It was a good thing I had the gear, because I was immediately attacked by a group of hoglins. Where did you guys come from? Since I had an iron sword, I was able to defeat the first few with no problems. The last, however, started to run away. Hey, get back here! The hoglin ran into the woods and I ran after him, but soon I couldn't see which way he went. Which way did he go? I ran in the direction he had been going before, and soon stumbled on a large fort in the distance. I could see the hoglin looking down at me from the second floor. I started running toward the entrance of the fort, when suddenly the ground opened up and I fell into a dark hole. Why am I still falling? Just as I was starting to think I might be falling forever, I suddenly landed in a pool of water. Where am I? I swam out of the pool and saw I was in a dimly lit, dark underground area. And what was this? Now I only have 5 hearts? I was so confused. Maybe this was all just a bad dream. I saw a good spot to rest and set up a small camp. Maybe if I could fall asleep, I could wake up from this nightmare. On day 2, I woke up, still in the same place. I decided it was best that I look around and try to find out what was going on. Level 100. Guess I better see what's behind this door. I climbed up the stairs and saw another door, which was also labeled. Level 99. Okay, interesting. I'm guessing level 1 is how I get out of here. This is gonna be quite the journey. I better start looking for the door up. As I walked further into the room, I realized that this didn't look like a room at all. The area was a dark jungle, and there was even a sky. This must be some kind of powerful magic. I better start collecting some supplies. Who knows what could be hiding out here? I started by knocking some cocoa beans off a tree, then started punching the trees to collect some wood. After I had gathered a decent amount, I started walking through the trees to look for a door. I soon found a nice pond to stop at to rest. As I rested, I was suddenly attacked by a pack of mungi. What did I do to you? These little guys were vicious. You saw them from afar, you would probably think they were pretty cute, but it turns out they were all just a bunch of little imposters. Shouldn't you little minions be helping a supervillain somewhere? They put up a tough challenge, but my iron sword was too much for them, and ultimately, they were all defeated. Sheesh, I gotta hurry and find that door. I kept wandering through the forest and eventually saw something glowing off in the distance. Is that it? Is this the door to the next level? I opened it up and headed up the stairs. On day 3, I emerged onto level 98. Okay, it looks like that was the door to the next level. I'm glad I didn't run into any more mobs, but I'll have to keep an eye out. Turned out I needed to keep an ear out too, because just then, I heard someone calling for help.
Help me, can someone help?
Who could that be? I rushed toward the sound of the voice and stumbled upon a man being attacked by a group of mungi. Uh-oh, not more of these fun guys. I hopped in with my iron sword and started slashing away. I could tell they had nearly killed this poor guy. What do you think you're doing? You belong in soup. I swung away until there was only one left, and as I killed the last one, my iron sword broke. Well, I'm glad they're gone, but so is my only weapon. Anyway, how are you doing, buddy? The man rose to his feet. He was clearly hurt, but was hanging on.
That was a close one. Thank you for rescuing me. I was a dead man for sure.
No problem. Say, do you know what's going on here?
Well, one moment I was walking through the forest looking to sell my wares. I'm a traveling merchant, you see. And the next I was falling down what seemed to be an eternal pit. I landed at the bottom and have been trying to make my way out ever since.
Sounds like we're in the same boat. If we stick together, we can get out of here faster.
C'est magnifique. Let's do it. Oh, zoot!
The merchant tried to take a couple of steps, but his leg was clearly hurt.
It's my leg, but do not fret, mon ami. We will persevere. By the way, my name is Benoit. What is yours?
The name's Zozo.
Zozo what?
Just Zozo. Sorry, I phrased that weird. Let's go! On days 4 to 5, we had made our way up a few floors to level 95. On the previous floor, I had crafted some wooden tools to fend off some weaker mobs, but nothing too major had happened. Benoit's leg was keeping us from moving too fast, but everything was going well so far. Hey, it looks like there's some stone deposits up ahead. Let's try and get some stones for new tools. Benoit took a seat while I got out my wooden pickaxe and started mining out some stone. After I had mined out a decent amount, I put down my crafting table and fashioned together a full set of stone tools. I also made an extra sword so Benoit could defend himself. Here you go, Benoit, just in case anything happens. Using my new stone pickaxe, I decided to keep mining into the stone deposit. Maybe I could find some iron. As I continued to dig through, I couldn't believe what I found. Is this the next door? Why was it buried under the stone? These doors aren't going to be as easy to find as I thought. I opened the door and sure enough, there was a staircase leading up to the next level. Come on, Benoit, let's see what's waiting for us ahead. On days 6 through 8, we reached level 93, and I noticed things were a little different than the other floors. A few monkeys scampered by, and I could see an arena up ahead. Something doesn't feel right. Benoit, I think you should hang back while I go check things out. I approached the building slowly, but I didn't see anything, so I stepped inside. Just then, I heard a thump as a big bun fungus slowly emerged from the shadows and into the light. Easy there, big guy.
Carrot. Give me carrot.
I don't have a carrot, but maybe we can find you something else.
Give carrot or you carrot.
Me carrot? I'm not a carrot.
No, you carrot. I eat carrot.
Me no carrot.
You carrot.
No carrot.
Carrot.
The bun fungus lunged at me and attacked. Our conversation wasn't really going anywhere, so it was probably best just to get into it. I'm not a carrot. Knock it off. For as silly as he was, the bun fungus was really strong. Clearly, he was always eating his carrots, which was contributing to his powerful blows. How about you take a bite of this? I swung my sword again and again as he chased me around the arena. He was getting some hits in, but I was holding my own. After a hard-fought battle, I was able to land the final blow, and the bun fungus was defeated. As he disappeared, I noticed he had also dropped a compass and a small crystal. I took a look at the compass first. Door locator. Is this what I think it is? I took a closer look at the compass and could see the compass was pointing me in a direction. I'll have to see if that leads me to a door. But before that, I took a look at the crystal. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do exactly. What happens when I place it? I set the crystal down, and suddenly, an image of a princess began broadcasting out of it.
Hello there. I've been captured by the wizard who controls this fort, and am in need of someone like you to rescue me. Help me, brave adventure. You're my only hope.
Oh no, she must be in real trouble. I gotta get to the top. I headed back outside and met up with Benoit. I explained the situation and he agreed to help as much as he could. We took out the compass and headed in the direction it pointed us. We soon saw the door and headed inside, but this time there was something different, an elevator. I wonder what that's about. There was a staircase leading up to the next level, but next to the elevator was a power switch, so I flipped it on. Let's see where this goes. Benoit and I entered the elevator and hit the button inside. The elevator started to move. On days 9 through 11, we stepped out of the elevator into a large cave. Wait a second, this is the cave where I started. I took a look around to be sure, but there was no mistake. This was the same cave.
If this brings us back to this floor, that makes me think there will be more elevators on future floors. Maybe we can set up a base here.
That makes sense to me. How are you feeling?
Definitely better, but I don't know if I can keep going up the stairs. How about I get things started down here, and you go look for the princess?
That's a great plan. Before I go though, I think we should set up some kind of distraction to scare away any mobs that might try to come after you. I was thinking I could build a large statue.
Great idea.
I got straight to it, working on the statue. I thought it should be something scary, but also something that could believably be in this world. After a bit, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. Can you guess what it's going to be? With the first part complete, I headed back over to the elevator and stepped inside. There was just a button inside. I wonder how high it will take me. On days 12 to 14, I emerged from the elevator to see that I had returned to the same level as before. I must have to activate the elevator on a given floor to travel to it. Looks like there's no shortcuts. I then entered the door to the stairs nearby and headed up to the next floor. When I walked out, I saw that the biome was completely new. I was now in a swamp biome. This is a swamp, but the water looks off. In fact, it looks poisoned. To test this out, I headed to the edge of the water and tossed some wood I had into it. With the sizzle, the wood disintegrated completely. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch my step. Otherwise, that could be me. Unlucky for me, though. I could see my only way forward was going to be jumping on lily pads across the swamp. I sure hope those parkour lessons were worth it. I jumped ahead, landing on the lily pad. I had some close calls, too, as some of the lily pads were actually drop leaves. That could have easily dropped me into the poison. Phew, I'm glad I made it across. Well, let's find that door. I started heading in the direction of the next door. I really hope I'm not too late to save the princess. As I was walking, I was suddenly attacked by a giant mosquito. No hugs, no hugs. The mosquito was vicious. I tried to keep it away, but it kept wrapping itself around me, trying to bite me. It did some serious damage. Get off of me, you bloodthirsty psychopath. I managed to knock it back and hit the mosquito with my sword, finally defeating it. Look, I don't want to run into another one of those ever again. I kept following the compass and headed off to find the next door. On day 15, I had made my way to floor 85 when I saw a house in the distance. Another house. I wonder if there's another monster hiding inside. I gotta be careful. I took my sword out and started sneaking up to the door when the door swung open. Charge!
Wait!
I stopped running and realized it was just an old woman. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not used to meeting people who don't attack me.
That is quite all right. I'm not used to meeting new faces either. I've heard of many people coming to this place, but so far none of them have made it this far. You must be the most skilled of them all.
Thank you, but you mentioned others? What do you know of this place? The woman took a deep breath before beginning her story.
Hundreds of years ago, a young wizard lived alone in the mountains. In his isolation, he became a powerful wielder of magic. For a time, he would show others his magic, but was laughed at and bullied for being weird. Then one day, a young knight asked him for his help uniting the broken kingdom. The pair forged a powerful friendship, and peace was restored to the land. However, the young knight, now king, wanted the wizard to do more. He didn't just want peace in his kingdom, but he wanted to control the entire world. When the wizard refused, the king banished him. Now he lives here, capturing and toying with wayward knights and explorers as revenge for what his friend did to him.
That's awful. It almost makes me feel bad for him.
Don't. He didn't have to do this. He made his choice. He's nothing like the wizard he once was, and has been corrupted in his anger.
I see. Well, that helps. I better get going. The wizard has to be stopped. You should come with me.
Thank you for the offer, but I'm actually quite happy with the new life I've built. It suits me here. But I have something that should help you.
The old woman tossed out a potion of endurance. I picked it up and took a drink. Immediately I felt my strength returning, and I regained all 10 of my hearts. Oh wow, I feel amazing. Thank you for this.
You're very welcome, young man. Take this as well. You might find yourself needing it out there.
She threw out a poison resistance potion, which I picked up. Thanks again for all of your help. I'm sure we'll see each other again. On days 16 to 19, I was traversing the swamp when I came across a cave. These stone tools aren't going to cut it for much longer. I should see if I can find some iron in that cave. I headed into the cave and soon saw several iron ores. I got to mining and managed to mine a few of them. Alright, let's go see if I can get a few more. I started making my way down the cave when I heard a horrible roar. I turned around and saw a huge crocodile looking right at me. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. The crocodile charged at me and attacked. His powerful jaws did a lot of damage. My stone sword felt like it was barely doing anything. My iron armor was pretty weak, and he even managed to break some of it. With armor missing, my health was really starting to drop, so I had no choice but to run away. Okay, you win this one. I ran back out of the cave, and luckily the crocodile didn't follow me out. Man, there was so much more iron in there. How much did I get? I took a look and saw I had gotten enough for maybe a couple of tools, but that was it. Well, I don't have enough to fix my armor and make new tools. I'll only be able to do one or the other. I decided that I would build a sword and do my best not to get hit. I quickly made a forge, smelted down the iron I had, and crafted an iron sword. This is gonna be a risky move, but who knows how likely I am to find more iron. I equipped my sword and snuck back into the cave. As I made my way, I could see the crocodile just up ahead. He hadn't noticed me. With the amount of armor I had left, I could probably only take a couple of hits. Here goes nothing. I sprang into action and started furiously swinging my sword. I jumped forward and back, doing my best to dodge the croc's bites. Despite my best efforts, he managed to get a hit in. Uh-oh, this is gonna be a close one. The crocodile snapped at me furiously, but at long last, I was able to land the fatal blow. Oh man, let's not do that again. With the crocodile out of the way, I mined out the rest of the iron I needed. With the freshly mined iron, I smelted it down and made myself a new set of iron armor, which I gratefully equipped. I'm feeling safer already. On to the next room. From days 20 to 22, I eventually found myself on floor 78, which looked extremely similar to the floor the bun fungus was on, or at least the building in front of me did. Okay, this building looks just like that other one. There's gotta be a scary monster hiding in this one. There was just one problem. The building was completely surrounded by poison water. How am I gonna get across this? I threw down a crafting table and quickly made a boat. I set the boat in the water, but it immediately started smoking and disappeared into the poison. That was when I remembered the poison resistance potion the old woman had given me. I drank it down and jumped into the water. I probably should have just dipped a toe in before jumping all the way in, but it seems to be working. As I crossed, I saw some clay at the bottom of the swamp, so I stopped and mined some of it out. I can use this for the statue. With the clay collected, I continued across the swamp and soon reached the other side. I made my way up to the opening of the arena and took a peek inside, but didn't see anything. The arena was filled with poison, but my potion had run out. I hopped across the drop leaves, just barely making it to the other side. Phew, that was a close one. I don't see anything though. What was that? Suddenly, a strange plant creature rose out of the swamp and started moving toward me. It was a whisperer. Alright, no need to panic. He let out a shriek and started to attack. This whisperer was insane. He would wave his arms, which caused plants to fly up from the ground. He also summoned a large flower that would attack me. Oh, I gotta get out of the way of these plants. I jumped around the arena, using the lily pads to try and get hits in, but his special attacks were making this difficult. The closer I can get, the better chance I'll have. It was risky having to jump across the poison pond, but if I couldn't get close enough to get hits in, there was no way I was going to win. You're not so tough at close range, are you? Finally was able to start wearing him down and let out a flurry of hits. Soon enough, he was down. As he disappeared, I noticed a chest on the other side of the room. What could be in here? I popped the chest open and saw it was full of gold ingots. I'm not sure what I'll do with these, but I'll hang on to them, just in case. With my new loot, I looked ahead and saw the door leading to the next level. Inside of it was another elevator. I flipped the nearby switch to activate it. I'll bet this takes me back to the first level. I should go see what Benoit is up to. I entered the elevator and headed down. On days 23 to 26, I re-entered the cave and saw that Benoit had been making some small improvements to the base. He had set up a small crafting and smelting area, but had another request for me.
Zozo, mon ami, could you give me a hand with this next project? I need a place to sell my wares.
I agreed, and we got to work building Benoit a shop. It seemed a little silly since, as far as I knew, I was the only customer he could have, but he was a nice guy and I wanted to help.
C'est bon, this shop is amazing. Merci, Zozo.
No problem. So have you got something to sell?
As a matter of fact, I do. If you have some money for me, I'd be happy to sell to you.
I don't have any money, but I do have some gold bars. Give me 1 second. I headed over to the crafting area and tossed out some of the gold bars. Using my pick, I managed to shape them into some gold coins. These should work great. I headed over to Benoit and asked him what he had in stock.
For now, the only item I have in stock is a bow and some arrows. I'm hoping to find some more inventory around the caves.
A bow could be really helpful, actually. I'll take it. I tossed Benoit some of my coins and took the bow and arrows off the shelf in return. With my new item, I was going to be even more deadly than before. On days 27 to 31, I decided I would do some work on the statue before heading back up the tower. Benoit seemed to be pretty safe so far, but the sooner we could finish the statue, the safer I felt he could be. Soon, I had finished the second part. Go ahead and put your guesses for what it will be in the comments. And while you're down there, feel free to hit subscribe and ring the bell. I love having you on these adventures with me. Next, I headed over to the elevator to take it back up the tower. On the next level, I saw I was now in a Badlands biome. Okay, I'm starting to see the pattern here. Looks like every so often there's a mini-boss, and then the next floors take place in a new biome. Interesting. I didn't have too long to think about it though, as I was suddenly attacked by a couple of tarantula hawks. Stay back, you buzzards! These guys weren't too big, but they were intense. I was actually really surprised by how strong they were, given their size. They were trying to keep their distance, but I was able to use my new bow to get hits on them. It didn't take too much longer, and I was able to take them all out of the sky. These mobs are getting tougher with each floor. I can't even imagine what's waiting for me on floor 1. That's when I noticed that the durability on my bow had greatly depleted. Hey, what's this? My bow isn't very durable. I'm gonna have a chat with Benoit about this later. On days 32 to 35, I had reached floor 64 when I noticed there was some terracotta nearby. Ooh, I'm gonna need that for the statue. I better go pick it up. I mined out a good portion of terracotta, then continued on my way. This Badlands area was huge. It's going to be tough to find the door. As I continued to explore, I nearly ran into a rattlesnake. Oh, watch out! I whipped out my sword and gave it a few strong swings, quickly taking it out. That was a close one.
Not too shabby.
I looked to the side and saw a small roadrunner was watching me.
I saw you fighting tarantula hawks earlier, as well as that snake. The tarantula hawks kidnapped my daughter. Would you be able to help me rescue her?
I'd be happy to help. Show me the way. The roadrunner pointed to where I needed to go and I set off. As I reached the area the roadrunner had mentioned, I realized I had made a mistake. Oh brother, this is obviously some kind of joke. The daughter was clearly a stuffed dummy, and there was a cage suspended right above it, plainly meant to trap me inside. What is this, some kind of kid's cartoon where a roadrunner tries to outsmart those around him? Like I'd fall for that. I took another step forward to get a better look, when suddenly the sand beneath my feet gave way, and I fell into a massive hole. I can't believe I fell for that. On days 36 to 39, I was still falling. This feels like the hole I fell into on day 1. Seconds later, I crashed into a pool of water. I looked around and yep, I was back in the starting cave. You've got to be kidding me, this place is full of jerks. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Benoit about that bow he sold me. I made my way back over to the base and saw Benoit standing in a shop. Hey, that bow you sold me nearly broke after one fight. I paid good money for this.
Oh dear Zozo, I am so sorry. I would never intentionally sell you a poor quality product. Please, let me give you a discount on the next item.
Okay, fair enough. What have you got? Benoit tossed out an enchanted fire aspect iron sword.
I think you'll find this sword is the quality you're looking for.
I closely looked over the sword and everything seemed to be in order. Even with the discount, it still cost me the rest of my gold. From there, I headed back into the elevator and eventually reached the floor I'd been on before. I could see the roadrunner not too far away. Hey you! What's the big idea? Throwing me down that pit? Upon hearing my voice, he jumped in the air and started running away. Hey, get back over here. I've got something to say to you. The roadrunner was fast. I did my best to keep up with him, but it looked like he was getting away. Lucky for me though, he ran into a dead end. Now you listen here, I'm getting really tired of these games. I walked over to him and hit him once with my new sword.
Ouch! Okay, don't hurt me. I'm just so bored and thought it would be a funny prank. You didn't actually get hurt, right?
No, but I didn't think it was very funny. I'm in a bit of a rush, so it's frustrating to have to go up all those stairs over and over again. I'll let you live, but don't mess with me. I left the roadrunner and headed in the direction of the next door. On days 40 to 43, I was exploring the new floor when I noticed something was following me. I turned around and caught a glimpse of who it was. That roadrunner again. He better not be up to something. But just then, a huge guster came out of nowhere and attacked me. This big guy was tough. I tried hitting him with my sword, but he seemed to be immune from the fire damage. He managed to hit me a few more times, and my health was getting seriously low. He even managed to suck me into his vortex and throw me into the air. It looks like this might be the end for me. But before the guster could deliver the final blow, the roadrunner jumped out and finished it off. Wow, thank you. But why are you helping me?
I felt bad for pranking you. Clearly you're just trying to do the right thing. My name is Rhodey. Here, let me show you something I think you will like.
I followed the roadrunner for a bit, and soon saw he had led me to an oasis. There was a small hut nearby too. It looked like it used to be a smithy. You're right, this place is just what I needed. Thanks for showing it to me. Feel free to stick around. The roadrunner agreed, and I went and looked in the chest. Inside, I found some iron ingots, as well as a shield. Using the iron ingots, I managed to repair my armor as well.
Take a look at that tree, too.
I headed outside and saw that the nearby tree was no ordinary tree. There were some golden apples growing on it. I walked around the tree and knocked some of them off. These are going to be a huge help in the fight ahead. On days 44 to 49, we continued crossing the desert until we saw a large desert arena in the distance. I could see a corridor ahead leading into the stadium with 2 guards standing by. Hey, Rhodey, why don't you hang back while I check this out? It could be a trap, a real trap. I tried talking to the guards, but neither of them said anything. As I started to walk into the corridor, a bunch of arrows started firing. And this is the only way in? Great. I stepped into the arrows, trying to use my shield to block them. I managed to block some of the arrows, but I still took a ton of damage. With 1 heart left, I finally got through. Yeah, that could have gone better. I finally stepped into the arena. After I had stepped inside, the doors closed behind me. That's not good. Just then, a man dressed like a wither skeleton was standing on a platform at the top of the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, our challenger has arrived. A big round of applause, please.
Hey, buddy, you know it's just us here, right?
Thank you for that warm welcome. And now, let the games begin.
This guy was clearly nuts. He must have been in the desert for too long. Just then, another door opened and a husk came running out. A single husk? What a joke. This is going to be so easy. Just then, a huge horde came running out after him. I guess it wasn't going to be so easy after all. The husks weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. To keep them from ganging up on me, I ran ahead to get them in a line. Suddenly, the ground shook and parts of the arena floor opened, revealing pools of lava. What kind of sick games are these? I kept trying to get the husks lined up as I took care not to fall into the lava. Once they were lined up, I started to quickly cut through them, one at a time. It took a little while, but finally, they were all defeated. Okay, yay, I won. Can you let me out now?
We have a winner. Time for round 2.
The floor shook again as some pillars rose up from the floor, and this time, a few giant and normal-sized gladiators came charging at me. How many rounds of this am I gonna have to do? Luckily for me, the 2 big gladiators turned on each other, with one of them taking the other out. The bad news was that they were now all focused on me. I ran around the stadium, doing my best to try and block the trident throws and get hits in. This was a much tougher fight, but I was determined to win. Eventually, I was able to take out the trident guy, so I could focus solely on the gladiator. You know what they say about the big guys. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I managed to get the gladiator lined up with a pit of lava. I swung my sword, knocking him in and defeating him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final round.
The arena shook again as the lava pits and columns disappeared. Then a door opened and a huge scorpion came running out. This wasn't gonna be easy. This was gonna be my hardest fight yet. If I can just stay away from that stinger, I might be able to do this. The scorpion was tough and hit hard. Ouch! You'll pay for that. Suddenly, the arena shook again and the lava pits and columns returned. But this time, they kept moving in and out. That guy just couldn't make this easy for me, could he? Kept fighting the scorpion, and at one point, my health had dropped dangerously low. But I couldn't give up now. At one point, I was able to catch the scorpion in the lava pit, but he was able to crawl back out. Looks like I'm just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I kept hitting it with blow after blow with my sword until at long last it was defeated.
And the crowd goes wild! Well done, brave sir, well done. Please take the spoils of your accomplishment.
Another door opened, revealing a room with a chest. I headed over and took a look inside. An elite power bow. And whoa, tons and tons of gold. Just then, Rhodey came running up to me.
Hey, nice job. I was thinking I would keep adventuring with you, but after seeing that, you mind if I live at your base?
That shouldn't be a problem. Let's go. I entered the next room where an elevator was waiting. We went inside and headed back to the base. On days 50 to 53, Rhodey and I emerged from the elevator back at the base. Rhodey was going to need a place to live, so we got right to work building him his own space. I wanted him to feel right at home. When we had finished, Benoit came over and asked if I could give him a hand with the statue. Benoit and I used some of the blocks he had collected to build out the next part of the statue. He said things had been going well since I had been here last, and he even had something new for me to buy in his shop. We soon finished, and I headed over to his shop. Alright, so you said you've got something new for me?
Oui, take a look. I have a whole stack of diamonds. I'm sure these will be very useful for you.
I paid Benoit with the gold I had won from the arena, then took all of the diamonds over to the crafting area. I put together a full set of diamond armor, then used what was left to make a diamond sword, as well as a whole set of diamond tools. That princess has nothing to worry about. I'm on my way. On days 54 to 57, I made my way back up the elevator and stairs and emerged in a frozen tundra. Oh man, it's freezing. I don't know how long I can stay out here. Just then, I noticed that my health started to decrease. I was literally freezing. To make sure I didn't freeze to death, I got right to work, building a quick igloo and campfire. This is going to be tough going. I'm not going to be able to survive away from a heat source for too long. Once I had warmed up, I set back out, following the direction of my compass. As I traveled, I kept having to take breaks and set up a small fire to warm up. Eventually, I found the door, built into an ice spike. I made one more stop to warm up. I wasn't sure what was going to be on the next level. Once I was feeling good, I entered and headed on up. On days 58 to 62, I had reached the next floor and noticed that the weather wasn't as bad here. I think my armor is enough to keep me warm. Thank goodness. I was moving at a glacial pace before. I pressed on and soon saw a penguin. How adorable. I should go say hi. I ran up to the penguin when it suddenly attacked. Whoa, I thought you were supposed to be cute and cuddly. I managed to fight off the penguin when I heard something just ahead. I ran forward and saw a bunch of penguins standing around something. It was another adventurer. Hey, leave him alone. I charged and began swinging at the penguins. They were feisty little fighters, but I was able to overwhelm them and take them out. I headed over to the adventurer. Oh no, it looks like he's dead. But what's this? Laying on top of him was a crystal, similar to the one I had picked up earlier. I set it down and the princess appeared, saying the same thing as the one I had found. But wait a second, this princess looks completely different. There must be two princesses in danger. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. I better hurry up. Soon after, my compass had led me to the door and I headed in and up the stairs. On days 63 to 66, I emerged on a floor that looked like an ice beach. Ahead in the water, there was a huge ice spike. My compass had been pointing me to it, so I assumed that was where I needed to go. In the distance, I could see a bridge leading out to the spike, but as I started to cross it, I saw that the end of the bridge had been destroyed. It looks like I can still get across by jumping across those smaller ice spikes, but it's gonna be tricky. If I slipped and fell, I'd be falling into sub-zero water, where I could quickly freeze to death. I had to be careful. I was about halfway across when I nearly slipped. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was right on the edge, so close that it almost looked like I was floating over the edge. I regained my composure and managed to make it the rest of the way across. Phew, next time I do parkour, it's gonna have to be with lower stakes. I kept jumping and finally made it across the gap. I started to climb the ice spike. When I got to the top, I nearly jumped off in fear. There was a massive polar bear waiting for me. This must be the boss to get through to the next door. Wish me luck. I charged as the polar bear let out a large roar. He swung and nearly knocked me over the edge several times. This guy is tough. How am I gonna beat him? Just then, I had an idea. I was scared of falling off, but shouldn't he be too? I made some space between us and ran over near the edge. Come and get it. The polar bear charged at me full speed. At the last second, I jumped out of the way, causing it to slip right off the edge and down to the ground below. Piece of cake. As I looked over the edge, I could see some of the ice below had melted too. Almost looked like it had formed a word. Interesting. With the polar bear gone, I entered the door and could see that there was an elevator and path to go up. I stepped into the elevator and headed down to the base. On day 67 to 70, I entered the base and went over to talk to Benoit and Rhodey. Both of them were really excited and impressed by how far I had gotten. They also told me how much fun they were having down in the base. I was glad to hear it, but something was bothering me. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about something I found. On one of the last floors, I found a crystal with another princess message. Maybe there's two princesses, but something did seem off to me. Before they could answer though, the old woman from the swamp came out of nowhere.
This place is full of tricks. That's probably all it is. You should just ignore it.
Whoa, what brings you down here?
I thought I would pay you a visit. This is quite a nice place you've built down here. If your offer still stands, I wouldn't mind living down here after all.
I thought that sounded great, so I got right to work building her a house. I thought it was strange that she had changed her mind, but in any case, it would be good to have some more friends around. Once her house was complete, I headed over to Benoit to see if he had anything new to sell.
As a matter of fact, I do. I managed to find some lapis. You can enchant your armor with this.
I made a fresh set of coins with my gold and exchanged it for a stack of lapis. I entered the old woman's hut and used her enchanting table to upgrade my gear. I'll be able to tackle any biome or enemy now. I stepped outside to head back up the floors when I remembered we had a statue to work on. I made my way back up and got going on the next part. It didn't take too long and I was soon done. On to the next floor. On day 71 to 74, I returned to the last ice level, then started making my way up to the next door. Oof, it's usually not this difficult to reach the next level. Once I had maneuvered to the door, I entered in and was surprised by what I saw on the other side. Did I just enter the nether? The whole atmosphere had changed. But in the meantime, I decided to mine the magma blocks off the wall. I was going to need those for the statue later. I headed through the door. Wait a second, this looks like the same room, but the door is farther away. What's going on? I ran down the hallway and passed through the door. It was the same hallway again, but the door was even farther away than before. What kind of twisted joke is this? I ran through the next door and it was the same thing, but the door was even farther away. I started running for the door, but paused about halfway through. I must have missed something. I'm gonna go back. I turned to go through the last door when suddenly a bunch of piglins came bursting through, wielding axes. I tried to run away, but didn't have any other choice but to fight. With my upgraded gear, I managed to knock both of them out pretty quickly. Okay, maybe I just need to keep moving forward. I moved ahead when suddenly a couple of blazes spawned. I swung furiously to avoid catching on fire. Suddenly, there were more piglins too. I kept fighting and swinging. I had come so far. Soon, they were all defeated. Okay, let's keep going. Wait, which way was I going? I was completely turned around. I headed toward one of the doors to go through it. At the time, I didn't know that I was heading back the way I came in, but it turned out that was just what I needed to do. On days 75 to 78, I emerged from the door door and found myself in the end. What is going on? Now I'm jumping through dimensions. I took out my compass to figure out where the next door was, but it was just spinning in circles. Looks like I'm going to have to find the next door the old-fashioned way. I started making my way toward the nearest end city when I accidentally looked at the nearest Enderman in the eyes. He attacked! Back off, Slender Boy! It took a few swings of my sword, but I was able to knock him out. It might not be a bad idea to gather up some Ender Pearls, actually. Those could come in handy. With this in mind, I started my raid on the Endermen. One by one, I struck them down and collected the Ender Pearls. At one point, I even had multiple of them attacking me at once, which was a little scary. But eventually, I'd gotten all the pearls I felt I needed. That ought to do it. But hey, might as well collect some blocks for the statue too. I took out my pick and mined up some of the end stone on the ground, getting everything I needed. Then, I headed to the nearest structure, which was covered in shulkers. Time to duck and cover! The shulkers started firing at me, and I did my best to block their shots with my shield and hit them with my sword. I wasn't perfect though, and soon started levitating. Ugh, that doesn't feel so good. The levitating effect wore off, and I dropped to the ground. Luckily, I wasn't too high, and it didn't do too much damage. Finally, I was able to get close enough to the shulkers and finish them all off. Alright, let's see what's up here. I entered the end city and started following the path. There were more shulkers along the way, which I was able to fight off. Sometimes their levitating power even helped me out. It took a little bit to get through everything, but eventually I emerged on the roof and could see a door. That door looks a little weird, but it must be the way through. Let's see what happens. On day 79 to 84, I suddenly appeared on the end central island, and much to my fear, I could see the Ender Dragon flying around in the distance. This wizard isn't messing around. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight the Ender Dragon. I lunged forward as the dragon swooped around overhead. What ensued was an epic battle. Okay, first things first, I gotta take care of those end crystals. It's a good thing I got those Ender Pearls. By throwing the Ender Pearls, I teleported to the top of the towers and destroyed the end crystals. I had to be careful not to blow myself up, but one by one, I managed to destroy all of them. Alright, big guy, it's just you and me now. I ran into the middle of the island and worked on bringing down the dragon's health. The dragon flew by overhead, trying to blast me with its dragon breath. The dragon soon landed, and I was able to get some hits in. As the dragon flew around, I took aim with my elite bow and managed to get some hits in that way too. At long last, the dragon swooped in low, and I hit him with an arrow, finally destroying him. He exploded, dropping a ton of XP orbs. I did it! If I can beat the dragon, surely I can beat a wizard. It was just then that I noticed a chest had appeared on top of the center column. I ran over and opened it up. Look at all these nether scraps. And what's this? In the middle of the chest was a paladin sword. I took it out and equipped it. With the sword in hand, a bunch of light started sparkling around me, and I leveled up into a full-blown paladin. I feel even stronger now, and look what my sword can do. As I swung my sword, I could see it was launching a light sword in the direction I was aiming. So cool. Just then, I noticed there was a button and trapdoor nearby too. I hit the button and dropped into the hole. When I landed, I saw a familiar room, one with an elevator and some steps. I hit the switch and headed into the elevator. On days 85 to 89, I emerged in the base where Benoit, Rhodey, and the old woman came running out to meet me.
You're back. That must mean you're getting close to the top. You're doing great.
Thanks. I've just got a few things to do here, and I think I'll finally be at the top. First of all, I wanted to finish the statue, using the extra materials I had collected. No dragon was as scary as one breathing fire in your face, so I made sure to add a stream of fire. And just like that, it was finished. Is this what you thought I'd build when I started? Let me know what you think. With the statue complete, I headed down to the crafting area and used the gold and netherite to create some netherite ingots. Then I used the ingots to upgrade my tools and sword to netherite. Now that everything was upgraded, it was time to say goodbye to my friends before heading up to the final floors. Well guys, it looks like there's actually some hope of us getting out of here. It's been awesome getting to know you, and if I don't make it, hopefully this base can help you until the next adventurer comes along.
You are a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do it. We will see you soon, mon ami.
I turned and headed for the door. I was a man on a mission, and no one was going to get in my way. On days 90 to 94, I emerged in a stone corridor. As I stepped into the room, I was immediately attacked by some hoglins. Luckily, I was able to quickly destroy them. There was something familiar about this place. Wait, I think that was the hoglin from day 1. This must be the castle I saw before. I was getting close, but I had to stay focused. I opened a nearby door and immediately took some damage. What was that? I took a look inside the room and didn't see anything dangerous. I shut the door again and took more damage. Oh boy, this place must be trapped. I'm gonna have to watch my step. I proceeded down the hallways and ran into more mobs. This place was crawling with enemies. The mobs fought like their lives depended on it, which they did. Unlucky for them though, my new armor and weapons were stacked. They didn't stand a chance. After a ton of fighting, I finally pushed through a large group of them and had a moment to heal up. Well, I might have a few arrows sticking out of me, but I'm still here. I headed back into the corridors, fighting off skeletons as I went. This paladin sword was definitely coming in handy, as I was able to cut down enemies from far away. I kept pushing, taking out piglins and other enemies along the way. I finally entered a room and could tell something was different. On days 95 to 96, I entered a banquet hall and saw something illuminated on the wall. Subscribe. I keep seeing this word everywhere. In any case, I'm happy you're here and appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. On days 97 to 98, I had gone through a side door and found myself facing a white wall. Suddenly, there was a clicking sound as a drawbridge lowered. Standing in the center of the room was a giant pigless. Uh-oh, this isn't gonna be an easy fight. The pigless charged at me. He quickly hit me twice with his mace, which nearly depleted all of my health. If I was gonna survive, I was gonna have to be more careful. Not bad, Baconator, but let's see how you like this. Huh? I had swung my sword, but the pigless disappeared. Where did he go? Suddenly, he reappeared right next to me, nearly catching me off guard. Holy cow! This guy packed a punch. It took everything I had not to get hit, and I had to keep eating golden apples to stay in the fight. By using my paladin sword, though, I was able to hang in there. My friends are counting on me. I can't lose. I kept swinging and fighting until at long last, I landed the final blow, destroying the pigless. It was time to face the wizard. On day 99, I stepped into a large hall. Up ahead, there was a large wooden door. I stepped forward, and the door creaked open, revealing the wizard standing on a platform ahead of me. I walked into the room. Wizard, your traps have failed to stop me. I won't let you continue to keep people captive, and I'm going to free the princess. Get out of my way, or I'll move you myself.
Ha ha ha, you've done well, but I can't allow you to leave this place. Knights and adventurers can't be trusted.
Then you've made your decision. Think fast. I swung my sword, sending a sword beam flying at him as flames began to appear around me. I jumped out of the way and the flames exploded. This guy wasn't messing around.
I'll show you what real magic can do.
The wizard shot blasts of green energy at me as I continued to fire off sword energy. He was strong, but I was getting hits in. Suddenly, there was a crash of thunder and a red cloud appeared above me as fireballs started to rain down. Ah, that's hot, that's hot.
Haha, what do you think of this?
There was a poof, and a bunch of wizards appeared, who all charged at me. Holy cannoli, I didn't even know it was possible to do this kind of magic. The wizard clones were aggressive, but I was able to cut them down pretty easily. Then, I kept firing off sword blasts.
Oh, why isn't this working?
The wizard was getting frustrated. I was winning. Suddenly, he started firing off all of his spells at once. This was starting to be too much to handle. I could just keep hitting him. As one of my sword hits landed, he suddenly started to glow and burst into an explosion of light. Was that it? I did it! I think. Something didn't seem right about that. But the princess, I need to save her. On day 100, I took a look around the room and saw there was a lever hiding behind one of the banners. I flipped the switch, which opened a secret door. I headed inside. I'm Zozo. I'm here to rescue you.
Zozo, my hero. You're here.
Where's the other princess?
The what? Oh, yes, the other, oh, forget it.
There was a burst of light, and the wizard was standing in the place of the princess. I defeated you, and I'll do it again.
Wait!
Sorry, it's hard to keep doing the voice. I really didn't mean any harm.
What are you talking about? You threw me down a hole. You set me on fire. I fought a giant scorpion in an arena.
All illusions. In case you didn't notice, I'm pretty good at magic. In fact, it has all been an illusion, including everyone you've met. They're all parts of my personality, manifested by different people. You were never in any real danger.
Then what was the point of all of this?
The truth is, I'm just lonely. The only true thing was the story of the old woman, I told you about the king.
Well, I'm sorry that part is true, but don't you think if you have the power to create anything, it'd be better to do something that actually helps people? The wizard thought about it for a second.
Yeah. I guess I was too busy feeling sorry for myself to see that. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you. Please, let me send you on your way.
There was a flash of light, and we were suddenly back outside of the castle. I ran back into the land as the wizard and all his personalities waved goodbye. I guess in the end we all got what we wanted. I escaped, and the wizard got himself a new friend. Perhaps one day we'll go on an adventure together. On day 1, I spawned in as a witch. I'm so small, but it looks like I'm a witch. I only have 4 hearts. I better be careful while I figure out where I am and what's going on. I looked around the forest where I spawned in. Hello? Any other witches around? Where are my witches at? But there was no one around, just the tall trees. I was so busy looking up at the tall trees, I didn't see a man appear from behind one. He was huge, and he looked angry.
I've got you now, evil witch. You won't attack my village.
Why is he calling me evil? I don't feel evil, but I am a witch, and usually witches are bad. I was confused, but I didn't have time to figure out my confusion. The man was rushing at me with a sword. I started darting between the trees, trying to get away from him. Maybe I could climb a tree and get away. I quickly made it higher than the man. I thought I was in the clear until I ran into a beehive. Bees swarmed out of the hive and flew right at me. Oh no, they think I'm attacking them. Bees, I don't want to hurt you. Don't attack me. They didn't listen. I had to escape before they stung me to death. I quickly looked around and realized the tree I was in was right next to a lake. Bees won't follow me into the water. I have to dive in. I dove into the water and the bees stayed out. They knew do better than to try and follow me in. The man was still waiting on the shore, though.
Evil witch, I see you in the water there. I don't have a boat with me, but I'm coming back with one and I'll get you.
The man was waving his sword at me from the edge of the lake. There was no way I could swim to shore, but I saw a tiny island in the middle of the lake. I have to get to that island. It's my only hope of safety. I swam to the island and crawled out of the water. I was exhausted. The island was quiet and I didn't see any creatures. I saw a tree with an opening into the trunk. I crawled in. What a rough first day. I have to get more powerful if I'm going to make it in this place. Wherever I am. I fell asleep immediately. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out of my tree hole. It's quiet here. Maybe I can take some time to figure out why that man called me an evil witch. I don't feel evil. I thought about it for a while. I realized it made sense that he called me evil because witches are always evil. So why do I feel good? Is it possible that I spawned as a good witch? It seemed crazy, but it also felt true. I felt better after figuring this out, but then I realized I had a big problem. All the good people are going to think I'm evil because I'm a witch, but I can't go to other witches for help because they'll know I'm good. What am I going to do? I felt hopeless for a moment, but that was a waste of time. First, I need a safe place to live. Second, I need to protect myself and prepare in case I have to fight.
Oh, I don't know if I can help you with the fighting part, but why don't you live right here?
I looked around, trying to figure out who was talking.
Look down, silly.
I looked down and saw a frog sitting on a rock on the edge of the lake.
Hi there. I can tell you that this island is a safe place to stay. You can live in that tree you slept in. The only thing is...
Before the frog could finish talking, I felt something land on my head. Ah, a spider is on my head!
No, don't attack it.
The frog's warning came too late. I had made the spider angry. It rushed at me to attack. How was I going to defend myself?
Grab the potion behind you.
I spun around and saw a small bottle on the ground. I had no idea what it was.
Throw it at the spider, quick.
Threw the potion at the spider and took it out. Thanks, buddy. I need to know a lot more about potions and what I can do as a witch, but right now, I need to rest.
Go ahead. I was going to tell you that the spider was the only thing to watch out for, but you got it. You should be safe, but I'll keep an eye out.
On day 3, I needed to learn more about potions, since they seemed like a pretty great weapon to use, especially for a witch. I walked back to the shore and found my frog friend. He was sitting on his lily pad. Thanks again for your help, buddy. Can you tell me more about potions?
I don't know much about potions. I'm just a frog.
Then how did you know I should grab one and throw it?
Because another witch used to live on this island, and I watched her a lot. She never noticed me, though. Look around. I think she left a lot of stuff here when she left.
I decided to explore the island and see if the frog was right. I walked towards the middle of the island, into the trees. In the middle of the trees, I found a big magical-looking purple tree and what looked like a rundown house. I wonder if this is where the witch lived. I decided to go inside and explore some more. I walked in. Suddenly, a bat flew at my face. I was about to fight back when I realized it wasn't squeaking. It was talking.
Get out of my master's house. You don't belong here.
Sorry, I was just exploring and trying to figure out how to be a witch. I'm really new to this. My name is Zozo.
Oh my gosh, you're a witch too. Hi, Zozo. I didn't even realize. I thought you were that crazy guy coming back to destroy everything.
Oh yeah, that must be the same guy who attacked me as soon as I spawned. What's the deal with him?
He's a villager who lives on the other side of the lake. He's always been weird, but a few years ago his son disappeared and he became convinced that a witch took him. Now he's hunting down and hurting every supernatural creature he can find.
What's a supernatural creature?
It's basically any creature that has magical or weird powers. Witches, zombies, you get the idea.
But aren't all those creatures bad anyway?
No, that's just a myth. Most of them are bad, but there are some good ones too. I mean, look at you. I can tell you're not evil.
I wanted to keep talking to the bat about good and evil creatures, but it was getting late and I hadn't found any potions or anything else to defend myself. Hey bat, thanks for the info, but it's getting late and I should get back to my shelter.
Why don't you just sleep here?
Well, the house is kind of falling apart. There's no roof, walls.
Yeah, but you'll be safe here. The witch who lived here before cast a spell on this spot.
Okay, sounds good to me. Tomorrow I can start rebuilding the house. On days 4 to 5, I found an old stone axe outside stuck in a tree. It was in bad shape, but it'd do. It broke when I was on the second tree, but I had gotten all the wood I needed. I worked on rebuilding the witch's house so that I would have a sturdier shelter and made good progress. Then I realized I hadn't eaten anything since I got here, and I was running out of energy. Hey Bat, do you have a name?
The witch always called me Batty.
Okay, Batty, do you know where I can find food around here?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The witch always had to leave the island to find enough food. She had a boat, but she took it with her when she left.
Alright, I guess I'll have to swim across to find food.
Here, take a couple of potions with you. The witch left some behind, and you might need them until you learn how to make your own.
I wasn't worried because I already knew I was a strong swimmer. I walked back to the shore and got ready to swim.
Are you going to swim across the lake?
My frog friend was back. Yep, that's the plan. I need to find food and Batty told me there's none here for me.
Batty is right, but are you sure swimming across is a good idea? Crazy Man is out there, and he said he would come back with a boat.
The frog had a good point, but I really didn't have a choice. I had to find food fast, and building a boat would take too much time. I jumped into the lake and started swimming. On day 6 to 8, I was swimming across across the lake. It was a long distance, but I had to find food.
I told you I would be back, evil witch. I'll get you now.
Oh no, the crazy guy is back, and he has a boat. The crazy guy was coming right at me, and his boat was fast. I knew I couldn't let him get close enough to use his sword on me. I haven't had a chance to craft any weapons yet, but I have to defend myself. What are these potions Batty gave me? I started treading water so I could get the potions out of my pocket. I pulled out one bottle. What does this say? Potion of harming. Sounds like what I need. I was so focused on the potions that I completely forgot I had stopped moving. But the crazy guy hadn't stopped. He was coming right at me.
You foolish witch. You're no match for me. Take that.
How could I have been so silly? I let the crazy guy get too close, and he hit me with his sword. Ouch, that hurt. He had really brought down my health, and I didn't have that much health to spare. Okay, here goes nothing. Watch out, crazy guy. It's potion time. I threw the potion right in his face.
Ah, the evil witch has used her terrible magic on me. But your silly potion is no match for my sword.
I wasn't going to last much longer if I didn't do something fast. I frantically grabbed another bottle out of my pocket. Exploding potion. I guess I know what this does. I threw the potion at the back of the boat, and the end just blew up. The boat started sinking. The crazy guy jumped out of his boat, but I didn't wait around to see what happened. I swam as fast as I could to shore. When I reached the shore, I was exhausted. I turned around and saw the crazy guy bobbing in the water, moving so slowly towards the shore. Does this guy even know how to swim? Doesn't look like it, which is good to keep in mind.
You can run now, evil witch, but you know I'll find you again, and next time you won't be so lucky.
I ran into the forest. I was so tired, but my hunger bar was getting really low. I had to eat something now or I wouldn't be able to keep going. I wasn't looking where I was going, and I ran right into a tree with some apples. It's not much, but this should be enough food to keep me going until I find more. I ate the apples and felt better, but I was so tired. I decided to hide out for the night and keep searching for food in the morning. On days 9 to 10, I left the forest and walked into some fields. Are those farms? There must be food on farms. I ran toward the first farm I saw. The fields were full of vegetables. I grabbed as many carrots and potatoes as I could fit in my pockets.
Hey, who are you and why are you stealing my crops?
I looked up to see the farmer on his front porch, and he looked angry.
Hey, aren't you that evil witch my neighbor told me about? Get off my farm.
He grabbed a crossbow and started shooting arrows at me. Okay, I can take a hint. I'm getting out of here. I wasn't fast enough, and one of his arrows hit me. Oh no, I'm almost out of hearts. I realized there was one more potion from Batty that I hadn't used yet. I pulled it out of my pocket and read the label. Potion of healing. Sounds like what I need. I gulped down the potion and suddenly felt a ton of energy jolt through my body. I looked down at myself. I was bigger. I don't know what's in that potion, but it gave me 10 hearts, and I turned into a bigger witch. I feel so much stronger and faster. I was so fast that I was able to dodge the rest of the arrows the farmer was shooting at me.
I better not see you back on my farm, witch, and I'm gonna tell my neighbor I saw you. He's coming for you.
I kept running into the fields. On days 11 to 12, I was still running through the fields. I had so much energy. I saw mountains in the distance. How far had I gone? I better not get too far from the lake. I need to get back to base soon. As I got closer to the mountains, I decided it was time to turn around. I had grabbed enough food from the farmer to last a while. Then I noticed a little hut at the bottom of the mountain. Did someone live there? Someone came out of the hut. It was another witch. Aren't witches usually bad? I better run again.
Wait, come back. I want to help you.
I didn't know if I should believe her, but I felt strong enough to find out. If she was lying to me, I could run or fight.
Won't you come inside? You're the first good witch I've seen in so long, other than myself.
You're a good witch too?
Yes, come inside and I can explain everything.
I walked behind her into her hut. Inside, I saw shelves full of bottles, a large table, a huge cauldron with smoke coming out of it, and a door leading to another room.
It's so amazing to meet another good witch. It's been so long I worried I was the only one left. You see, good witches are incredibly rare. So much so that people don't even know or believe we exist. That means most people hunt us down and hurt us before ever finding out we're good and want to use our magic to help them.
Well, that's a bummer, but at least I know I wasn't crazy for thinking I was a good witch.
You are good, I can tell. I want to teach you everything I know to help you survive.
The witch started to tell me about being a good witch. She told me about all the different types of potions I could brew and the materials I needed to brew them. She also explained about the different types of weapons I could build to defend myself and how to get food. Suddenly, we heard the sound of yelling in the distance.
Did someone follow you here? No one has ever come this close to my hideout until now.
Oh no, I stole some crops from a farmer and he got angry. He said his neighbor was hunting me. I think he was talking about this crazy guy who keeps trying to hurt me. They must have seen where I was heading.
The man hunting you isn't some crazy guy. He used to be a wonderful person. He was a successful trader, friendly to everyone. He had a son who came with him on all his trading missions. He was teaching his son the business. I knew him. You see, I didn't always live here. I used to live on a beautiful island with my bat friends.
Wait, you're the witch who used to live on the island? That's where my base places. Batty has been helping me.
Oh, I'm so glad my old home is helping someone. Batty is a good friend. I loved living there, but I was chased away. One day, the trader's son disappeared.
I know. He thinks a witch stole his son, and now he's hunting all supernatural creatures. I've heard the story. I need to get out of here so your hideout stays a secret. The witch tossed out an item that looked like a bag for me, and I grabbed it before running out the door.
But wait, you don't know the whole story.
I have to get out of here before they find you.
Come back when you can. I haven't told you the most important thing.
I took off, running across the field, and just hoped the farmer and the trader wouldn't follow me. On days 13 to 15, I kept running across the fields towards the forest. I knew I had to get back to base so I could start brewing potions and making weapons. As I was running, I realized there were little holes all around me. What is up with these holes? I better be careful so I don't step in one. A rabbit popped out of one of the holes, and then another one. Pretty soon, the field was full of rabbits. Oh, aren't they so cute? I wish I could stop and pet them, but... What are you doing? The rabbits were jumping up and biting me. Aren't you rabbits supposed to be nice? What are you all doing? Stop biting me. I really didn't want to hurt the rabbits because something didn't seem right, but I also couldn't let them keep biting me. Maybe there's something in this witch bag that can help me without hurting them. I pulled out a bottle. Potion of slowness. Sounds good. Sorry, rabbits, but something is wrong with you, and I don't know what it is. I threw the potion and ran. The rabbits were too slow to follow me. I wonder if this is what the witch was trying to tell me, that the animals are acting strangely. I reached the edge of the forest and ran in. Suddenly, a squirrel jumped on me and started biting me. What is going on with all these animals? Why are they attacking me? By that point, I had been bitten so many times that I was losing health. I saw more squirrels running through the trees after me, but I had reached the lake. I dove into the lake, and the squirrels didn't follow me. I swam across the lake and made it back to base. On days 16 to 19, I had planned to start making potions and weapons, but I had forgotten that my house wasn't built. I guess my weapons will have to wait. I need to build my house for protection, especially with all these animals behaving so strangely. I might not be as safe here as I thought.
Hey, Zozo, you're back. What you doing?
Oh, hi, Batty. I need to build up my house, but there's hardly any wood or stone around here. Any suggestions on where to find materials?
Sure, go that way and you should find everything you need to get started.
I made a wooden pickaxe before I started heading in the direction Batty was pointing. It was part of the island I hadn't explored yet. Batty was right. There was an abandoned lumber mill, so I started grabbing as much wood as I could find. But I also needed to find stone. Batty said there would be everything I needed, so there must be stone somewhere. I came out of the other side of the trees and realized I had reached the lake again, but I hadn't explored this beach. Wow, there's tons of stone here. Batty was right. Most of the stone was closer to the water, so I walked down to start collecting it. A drowned came out of the water and towards me. I didn't have any weapons or anything with me, but I felt so much bigger and stronger. When the drowned got close, I just started punching. Take that! I'm sick of being attacked. Go away! The drowned backed off and went back into the water. I grabbed all of my materials and went back to the house. Now I was ready to get started making things. On days 20 to 22, it was time to cook up some potions and make some better tools and weapons. Let's see what good stuff she gave me. I used the bag item the witch had given me and saw that it filled my inventory with cobblestones, a blaze rod, glass bottles, and lots of things that looked like dust, streams, and more. There was also a small book. Good witch, here's what you need to get started brewing potions. First, you need to build your brewing stand. That's what the cobblestones and blaze rod are for. Once you've built that, take a glass bottle and some of the nether wart. Combine them and you'll have an awkward potion. The book had more pages, but I was excited to get started. I followed her instructions. Cool, a brewing stand. Alright, let's cook up some awkward potions. I got a little too excited and made a bunch of bottles. Once you have an awkward potion, you can take the different ingredients in my bag and add them to it. That's how you make different types of potions. I spent hours grabbing ingredients and combining them into potions. When I was almost out of glass bottles, I decided to take a break.
Wow, looks like you made a ton of potions. Good job, but you should probably also make a weapon.
Why? Look at all these great potions I have now.
Yeah, but what happens if you're attacked and run out of potions? You should have a weapon just in case, like a sword or an axe.
Alright, I guess I need to go back out for more materials to make a sword. I decided to go back to the beach where I found all the stone. Maybe there would be other materials there too. I walked over to the beach and started digging, but then I heard a noise. I looked up and there were 3 more drowns coming at me. Ugh, these guys again? And there's more of them. At least this time I remembered to bring some potions with me. Those drowns moved fast, and before I could grab a potion, they started attacking me. I finally found my potion and threw it, and they went away. Hey, looks like one of those weirdos dropped something. What is this thing? I picked up what looked like a giant fork. It looked sharp, so I thought it could be a weapon. I decided to stop searching and bring it back to Batty.
Whoa, Zozo, you found a trident. Did a drowned drop it? Those are so rare. Cool.
I decided to take my new weapon and walk down to the other beach to see if my frog friend was around. When I got there, I heard a strange noise coming from above me. I looked up.
You may have destroyed my boat, but I'm back and ready to destroy you, evil witch. Just try throwing your potions up here.
It was the crazy trader again, and this time he was wearing a crazy outfit that looked like armor, flying right above me, getting ready to swoop down with his sword. The way he was moving around, I knew it would be hard to hit him with a potion.
Throw your trident!
That sounded like my frog friend.
How did you get a trident, evil witch? Do you even know what to do with it?
I didn't have time to look around. I just aimed and threw the trident as hard as I could. My trident was a direct hit, and as it dropped back back down, I caught it.
Ouch, that hurt. Hey, you dented my armor. How did you get so strong?
I threw my trident again, and pieces of his armor started falling.
No, you're destroying my armor. How could I have known you had a trident?
I knew that with one more hit I could take him down, but he knew it too.
You may have won this battle, witch, but I'll still win the war.
He flew away, and I felt confident I could beat him next time. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the base and decided to go inside and check on Batty.
What happened? You look like you were in a fight.
Yeah, that crazy guy came back again. This time he was flying and he had armor, but I fought him off with my trident.
That's a relief. You should probably prepare in case he comes back.
He was right. I needed to make this place more secure. My house was nice, but I needed something bigger and stronger. I decided to build a fortress around my house. Batty had helped me out by bringing a huge pile of wood. I started building up the walls, working as fast as I could. Eventually, the walls rose up around my house, and it was starting to look like a fortress. But there was something else missing too. This island needed some decoration. I've got it. I'll build a nice big statue. That'll liven the place up. I got to work on the statue. I didn't have much in the way of materials, but I at least made a good start. I know it's not much to look at yet, but do you have any guesses what it will be? Suddenly, Batty flew up to me.
Hey, you know you didn't finish going through the witch bag. You should see what else is in there.
I reached into the bag and pulled out what looked like a diary. It had a lock on it, but the lock fell open when I touched it. I guess it was a witch thing. I opened the diary and read the first page. The Good Witch Diary, top secret. But if you are liking the video, make sure you search for other videos. Just search for Zozo and see the other great adventures Zozo has been on. On days 27 to 31, I wanted to make sure we had enough food. In a perfect world, I could get some animals, but my base was on an island, and I had no idea how I could get animals there. Well, the easiest way to get food here is probably to farm some vegetables. Just then, Batty swooped in, and he had other bats with him.
Hey, Zozo! Meet my family. Now that we have a fortress, I decided it was safe to go get them. They've been hiding ever since that crazy guy made the first witch leave. They're excited to help us out.
That's great, Batty. I was actually just thinking about planting some crops. Could your family go out and find me some seeds?
Sure thing. We'll be back.
Once the bats flew off, I decided to explore the part of the island I still hadn't visited to see if there was a good place to farm. After a couple minutes, I found a clearing in the trees that got a lot of sun. It looked like the perfect place to plant seeds, except that I noticed something strange in the shadows. Is that slime? Gross. As I looked closer, I realized there were slimes all in the shadows, and they were jumping closer to me. I heard a loud splat. Gross, a slime attacked me, and also, that hurt. I had no idea if potions would work against slimes, so before wasting any, I decided to go back to the fortress and see what Batty knew about slimes when he got back. On days 32 to 35, Batty and his family came back with lots of seeds. Thanks, Batty and family, these seeds are awesome, but we have a problem. I found the perfect spot for a farm, but it's filled with slimes, and one of them attacked me. How can I get rid of them?
Oh man, I was afraid of that. I forgot to tell you that there's a little swamp on the side of the island, and I've heard rumors about slime sightings, but I never saw one, so I thought maybe we were safe.
Great, that swamp must be right next to the spot I want to put my farm. Is there a potion or something I can use to get rid of them?
You can defeat slimes and they'll drop slime balls, but actually maybe it's a good thing they're here. You can use slime balls to make all kinds of useful stuff.
When I heard that, I decided to go back with my trident that instant. After all, I didn't want the slimes to disappear, and I wanted those slime balls. When I got to the swamp, I saw the slimes were still there. They were different sizes. One was huge, a couple were medium, and there were a few little ones. What are you, like a slime family? I didn't wait for an answer. Can slimes even talk? I immediately threw my trident at the big slime. When it hit the slime, 2 medium slimes appeared. Wait, what? I thought I was going to get rid of you. Now I just have more slimes to deal with. I kept attacking the medium slimes, and they turned into smaller slimes. This was turning out to be a much bigger project than I planned. Finally, I was left with nothing but slime balls, so I collected all of them. I also spotted some materials that I knew would be perfect for my statue, so I grabbed some of those too before going back to my witchy fortress. Thanks a lot, Batty. You could have warned me that hurting slimes makes more slimes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Batty, we need to work on your memory. Seems like you forget a lot of things. Every single one of his bat family members agreed with me, rolling their eyes at Batty. On days 36 to 39, it was time to farm. Now that Batty's whole family was back, we needed some serious food. I went back to the clearing to plant some seeds. Hello, any more slimes out there? I didn't see a single green slime, so I decided it was safe to start planting.
Hi there.
I spun around and saw a little bat.
I'm Batty's little sister. I wanted to come talk to you away from Batty because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but his bad memory is becoming a real problem.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that.
But he's forgetting some really important things. Like when we flew around collecting seeds, we saw and heard a lot. The crazy trader has been hunting down a lot more supernatural creatures, including a lot who are actually good.
Since when are so many creatures good?
They just are, but it's hard to tell because the Evil ones give everyone a bad reputation, but it's starting to get really serious. His crazy brain is telling him that even regular creatures are evil, even bats. Pretty soon, no one will be safe.
Wow, you aren't kidding. Batty's memory is really bad.
We need you to take down the crazy traitor before he can do any more damage. Can you do it?
I thought about how much stronger I had gotten. I think I can. I'll do it. But first, I need to grow this food so I have enough energy to fight. I kept planting until all of the seeds were planted. Then I went back to the fortress where I did some more work on the statue before calling it a night. On days 40 to 43, Batty and his family came back from the big forest and told us about animals acting strangely.
Zozo, you won't believe it. Normally when we fly through the trees, the squirrels and rabbits say hello to us. Today they all tried to attack us. We had to fly high above them to stay away. What is going on?
The bats were describing the same weird things I had noticed before, but I had forgotten all about them in the other chaos. Maybe I should go investigate in case there's something serious going on. I decided to swim over to the forest and take another look. I walked down to the lake and dove in. As soon as I walked onto the beach, something didn't feel right. A bunch of crabs dug out from the sand, surrounding me. I don't think I can take on this many. Suddenly, a potion landed on some of them, clearing away. I turned around and saw Batty and his family. They swooped in and started fighting the crabs while Batty himself approached me.
We'll keep fighting off the crabs so you can get to the forest. Just keep going.
Batty went back to join his family as I ran as fast as I could into the forest. On days 44 to 49, I explored the forest looking for animals. I didn't want to be attacked, but I needed to figure out what was going on, especially if Batty and his family were now in danger too. I searched through the trees, but couldn't find a single animal. This was even more confusing. The forest is always filled with animals. Where did they all go? I kept walking until I reached the fields and still didn't see a single animal. This was so suspicious. Eventually, I turned around and went back to the lake. This time, there were no crabs anywhere. I swam across easily. When I reached the island, I saw my frog friend. Hey buddy, long time no see. How's it going? My frog friend didn't answer me. In fact, he didn't move at all. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? I walked closer to get a better look. The frog turned to look at me and his eyes were bright red.
Stop investigating the animals, witch. They're under my control, and if you interfere with my plans, I'll take you down.
The frog was under some kind of spell, and he was on my island. The danger was getting too close to home, and I was so worried about my frog friend. Before I could do anything else, he jumped into the water and swam away. I could only hope he would be safe. I went back to the fortress to talk to Batty. This was really serious. On days 50 to 53, Batty suggested that I should keep reading the witch diary to see if it could tell us anything about what was going on. I turned to the second page. Before you turn any more pages, I just want to say that I hope you're subscribing to this channel and enjoying more videos. Okay, the witch was really into subscriptions. Moving on, I got to page 3. I'm keeping this diary after the traitor made me run from my home. I need to write down the true story in case I can never tell anyone in person. Everyone believes that the traitor went crazy after a witch stole his son. This is not the truth. Before he went crazy, he traveled far into the mountains and met an old wizard who cast a spell on him. The wizard wanted to keep his son as an apprentice, so he made the traitor go crazy, believing a witch had stolen his son. The wizard is the true enemy. Destroy him and break his spell. Okay, this was getting really crazy, but it also made sense. I wondered if the wizard was also controlling the animals, but I realized I was too hungry to keep reading. I had to go see if my crops were ready. On days 54 to 57, I went back to my farm. There were so many vegetables. I gathered as many as I could carry to bring home. When I got back, Batty was surprised at how much food I had. Batty, things are getting really scary out there. I want to make sure I have enough food in case we need to hide out, and I want to take care of you and your family. I also wanted to build up our defenses. I decided to build a tower so that I could see everything around us and see if danger was coming. I also decided to build a potion launcher in case we needed to defend inside the walls. Once it was built, I needed to see if it worked. I flipped the switch and fired off some potions. Wow, those went really far. I think this will work perfectly. I had some time, so I also decided to work on the statue. It's really coming along nicely. Can you tell what it is now? On days 58 to 62, I woke up to the sound of screeching. It was Batty and his family, sounding the alarm.
The traitor is coming! The traitor is coming!
Oh no, now that I knew why he was crazy, I didn't want to hurt him either. I ran up to the tower and saw the traitor flying towards me. However this guy was flying, I wanted to learn how to do it. Hey man, stop attacking me! I don't want to hurt you. I know the wizard cast a spell on you. The traitor swooped towards me, and I noticed for the first time his red, glowing eyes, just like my frog friend.
I'm not here to attack you this time, at least not right this second.
Huh? What did he mean by that? Suddenly, he pulled out a bottle and threw it at me. I can't see anything. What was that potion you threw at me?
Haha, a blindness potion. Two can play at the potion game, witch, and now you can't see what I'm doing next.
He was right. I couldn't see anything. I had to get back downstairs to get some milk, which Batty had told me would give me my vision back. I stumbled down the stairs and drank some milk, but it took me so long, I was worried about what the traitor did while I was blind. I was so exhausted from the ordeal, I decided to get some sleep. On days 63 to 66, I woke up and went back to the witch diary. I had stopped reading before, but now I knew I had to keep going and figure out what was going on with the animals and how to defeat the wizard. I opened the diary where I stopped reading before. Before I keep telling the sad story, I really hope that you're enjoying the video so far. If you like it, why don't you subscribe to our channel for more? I wasn't even going to try to understand that one. A warning for you, the wizard has been growing stronger every year. Soon, he'll be too powerful to defeat. defeat. You will know that his power is becoming too strong when he takes control of all good creatures in this land. Even the nicest animals will turn on you. This is a sign that you must defeat the wizard now. If you wait, it will be too late. My heart sank. Now I knew why the animals were acting crazy, and it meant that the wizard was growing too powerful to stop. On days 67 to 70, I knew I had to find the wizard and stop him before he took over the world. Unfortunately, I had no idea where he was. I didn't even know where the trader was hiding. I started gathering supplies when suddenly I heard a familiar voice behind me.
What are you doing?
I turned around. Hi, Batty, where have you been? I haven't seen you since the trader was here. I looked at Batty and gasped. His eyes were glowing red. Oh no, Batty, are you under the wizard's control too?
The wizard is my master now, thanks to the trader who cast the wizard spell on me. He sent me here to tell you should give up now, because you will never find the wizard. He's hidden where no one will ever find him.
Batty flew away. I was so sad. My closest friend was under an evil spell.
Psst, Zozo, over here.
Batty's sister flew into the room.
I followed the trader when he took Batty, and I know where he is hiding. Maybe if you go to his base, you can find out where the wizard is hiding. He's in a bunker underneath the farm that you first stole vegetables from.
So that's why the trader came back, to kidnap Batty and turn him into a messenger. And no wonder the trader kept coming. He was so close. Before I left, I made sure I still had the witch diary on me. I hadn't finished reading it yet, and it might have more important information. On day 71 to 74, I made my way back to the farm where I first stole vegetables. I didn't want to run into the farmer again, so before I actually entered his land, I had to make a plan. Batty's sister said the trader was hiding in a bunker under the farm. If the trader is hiding underground, he must have a secret entrance to get down there. I started walking around the farm looking for anything unusual. I spotted a huge rock that looked really out of place on a farm. Was this his secret entrance? Suddenly, a side of the rock slid open. It was a door. I was right. I looked around but didn't see the trader, so why was the door opening? Then I saw Batty flying towards the rock. He was going into the trader's base. Oh no, Batty, you really are under their control. The door slid closed. I waited a while to make sure nothing was happening, and then I snuck over to the rock. I didn't see any sign of a door. How do you open this door? I know there must be a way. I kept looking but couldn't figure out a way to open the door. I got frustrated and punched the door. Alarm started going off. Oh no, that was so stupid of me. I should have known they would have had defenses. I dove into some nearby plants and hid right before strange creatures started swarming around the door. They were birds, all of them with glowing red eyes. I stayed down while the birds flew around and they didn't see me. Then the door slid open.
Who's out there? No one? Birds, pay closer attention next time. Whoever was at the door must have gotten away.
The trader closed the door again, and I knew I would have to find another way to his base. It was obvious. I would have to dig a tunnel to reach him. I was close enough that I decided to start digging right there. I knew the base was under the house, so I kept digging in that direction. On days 75 to 78, I was digging a tunnel to reach the trader's base. I knew I was getting close to the house, and the base had to be close by. I dug and dug until I saw a wooden wall. I had reached the base. I stopped to organize my inventory before I broke through the wall with my axe.
How did you find me, evil witch?
Hey man, I had to find you because you stole my friend Batty, but I don't want to fight you. I know that you're under the spell of the evil wizard. This isn't really you.
What are you talking about, witch? There is no wizard. I am going to destroy all creatures responsible for taking my son away from me.
He came rushing at me with his giant sword. I was scared, but I knew how much bigger and stronger I was since our first fight and all the special potions I had brewed. He swung a sword at me and I fought back, throwing potions, drinking healing potions, and stabbing at him with my trident.
Evil witch, you will not stop me.
I really wish this guy would stop calling me evil witch. He spun around and punched a wall and ran down another tunnel. I went to run after him, but he threw another blindness potion at me. So annoying. I put down my bag. Fortunately, I brought milk, so I drank it quickly, but not fast enough to see where he went. There was a fork where two tunnels went in different directions. I ate some of my food before I looked down both tunnels. To the right, I saw a red glow. It was his eyes. I took off running down the right tunnel, eating some more to make sure I was at full health. Soon, I reached another room. There, the trader had grabbed a giant shield in addition to his sword. This was it. I was going to have to throw everything at him and hope I could defeat him. I threw every potion I had, hitting him with one right after the other. I hadn't thought about what might happen if all the potions mixed. The trader had been knocked to the ground, and suddenly there was a black puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, his eyes were normal.
What happened? Where am I?
Had my potion somehow broken the wizard's spell? You're in a bunker underground. You've been hunting down creatures because you thought a witch stole your son.
No, I remember everything. I know a witch didn't steal my son. It was the wizard. He took my son and cast a spell on me so that I would think a witch had done it.
He looked so sad.
I think the wizard's spell was the only thing keeping me going all this time. Without the spell, I'm dying.
No, let's go destroy the wizard and save your son.
It's too late, but please, go defeat the wizard for me.
With that, the trader disappeared. On days 79 to 84, I took one final look at the room we fought in, then went back through the tunnels of the trader's bunker. I stopped there to rest for a minute. While I was there, I decided to eat something and keep reading the Witch Diary. The end of this story is sad and shocking. I have been exploring the mountains where I now hide, and I discovered where the wizard lives. I snuck closer to his hideout, and there I saw something terrible. The wizard was not the wizard I knew from before. Instead, the wizard was the trader's son. He had become the wizard. Oh man, maybe it's a good thing the trader disappeared. He would be so upset to learn his son had turned into the wizard. It is hard to say, but you still must find the wizard and destroy him, no matter who he is. If his power is this strong, there is no way to make him good again. I drew a map to where the wizard is hiding in the mountains. It is buried under my house on the island. Find the map, find the wizard, and destroy him. I guessed it was time to go back to the base. On days 85 to 89, I went back to the island. It was so lonely without Frog and Batty, but it was probably also good they were gone. If they were under the wizard's spell, I couldn't safely dig up the map. I went back to the house and started digging into the floor. I saw a glowing light. I kept digging until I found a secret room under the house. The room glowed with potions I had never seen before. There was a folded paper on a table, and in the corner was the trader's sword. What was it doing here? I picked up the paper and noticed a map placed next to it. Take this map and find the wizard. Use his sword, which I stole, and defeat him with it. Wow, so the witch had stolen the sword, but somehow the trader got it. When he disappeared, I guess the sword came back here. I picked it up. It was huge. Can I even swing this thing? It was too heavy for me, but that's when I spotted something. There was a chest on the table where the note was. I opened it up and saw several potions and rare items in there. The purple potion in the middle catching my eye. I picked it up. A power-up potion. I wonder what this does. The description said, drink me, as well as that it had been brewed at the peak of witching hour. That sounded amazing, so I decided to listen to the potion and give it a try. I drank the potion down and immediately felt it start to change something inside of me. I started to grow in size, gaining hearts, and felt much stronger. Strong enough to swing a sword? I tried it, and now I could swing the sword easily. So I grabbed the map, sword, and a few of the strange glowing potions. In the other corner of the room, I spotted something interesting. Is that what I think it is? That clearly looked like a witch's broom. I think I found my way of reaching the wizard now. I took out my pickaxe and dug through the collapsed door, entering a cave which led me back out. On days 90 to 94, I used the map to figure out where the wizard was hiding. Sure enough, he was in the mountains near where I had met the other witch. I needed to prepare for this battle. I looked at the glowing potions. One was a potion of invisibility, which sounded pretty useful. Another said potion of disintegration. What was that? Its label read, do not drink me. I didn't want to use a potion that I didn't understand, so I went back to the diary. I flipped to the back of the book where the witch had made a list of all the potions and their uses. Looks like this is one of the strongest potions out there. I better use it carefully. I grabbed the bag and a bite to eat as I left my house. But before I went to confront the wizard, there was one more thing to do. Finish my statue. Batty and his family weren't around to help me this time, but I still managed to finish it. There, I think it looks pretty good. But what do you think? With everything prepared, I placed down the broom in the courtyard and climbed on, soaring up into the air and over the tree line. I flew across the lake, over the forest, over a pumpkin grove, and over the fields. Then I saw the mountains getting closer. I saw the witch's hut, but I went past it. I didn't have any time to spare. I flew and flew up the mountainside until everything on the ground was barely visible. Looking at the edge of a steep cliff, I saw it, a great black castle. That must be where the wizard lives. I'm getting so close. Maybe I should take this invisibility potion so he doesn't see me coming. I drank the potion and turned invisible. Feeling safer, I flew up to his castle. The gate was wide open. Wow, this guy must feel pretty safe up here in the clouds to just leave his gate open. I peeked inside. On days 95 to 98, I snuck inside the wizard's castle. Even though I was invisible, I knew I had to be quiet and careful or he would realize I was there. The castle was huge. There were so many hallways and stairs, I didn't know where to start. I had to find the wizard though, so I started walking down the darkest, scariest looking hallway. I figured that was my best shot. As I walked down the hall, I started hearing whispering voices. It was hard to understand what they were saying, but one thing I did hear.
You've reached the wizard's lair, and the final battle approaches. Only the strongest warrior dares to fight the wizard. If you've enjoyed this journey, prove it by liking this video and subscribing to our channel.
On day 99, I kept following the voices until I reached a solid wall, blocking the rest of the hallway. Had I reached a dead end? Suddenly, I heard a voice calling out.
Zozo? Zozo, where are you?
It was Batty's sister again. I didn't know how she had followed me or escaped evil spells, but I was so happy to see her. Hey, I'm over here. I turned off my invisibility so that she could see me.
Oh, there you are, Zozo. I came to tell you it's not a dead end. Don't worry. I've been following Batty, and I know how to get in. This wall is a door. Punch the bottom right brick, and you can open it.
I walked towards the wall and punched a brick on the side. The wall lifted upwards, revealing a new hallway. Thanks, but now you should really get out of here. Things are about to get really crazy.
Good luck, Zozo. I'll see you back at base.
I went down the hallway, which ended with a staircase. At the top of the stairs, there was a big open room. Right next to the window was a huge throne, and in the throne sat the wizard.
So you found me, but you still have to defeat me, and you never will.
The wizard stood up and raised his hands to cast a spell. This was the moment to throw my potion of disintegration. It exploded around him, but didn't do anything.
You thought you could use a potion against me? You silly witch. I am invincible to all magic except my own.
What did that mean? How could he not be invincible to his own magic? Then I realized something. I had his sword. I pulled out the sword and it started glowing. It was a magical sword, and it was the wizard sword. Did this mean I could destroy him with it?
Where did you get that sword? That was my master sword that he gave me when I became the wizard, but another witch stole it from me. How do you have it?
Doesn't matter how I got it, buddy. What matters is that I'm going to use it to destroy you. Before I could attack him, though, I felt some of the sword's power start to enter me. I grew to be even bigger with even more hearts, and now I had a cool magical effect surrounding me. I ran towards the wizard, but as soon as I got close to him, he teleported behind me. That's not good. I charged at him again, only for him to teleport away, but I could tell he was getting tired. He summoned ice spheres that circled around him as I rushed at him again. He didn't have time to teleport away, but he snared me instead, landing more firebolts on me before teleporting away again.
No, how are you still standing? My spell should have taken you down.
I don't know, dude, but take this! Before he could do anything else, I swung the sword as hard as I could and hit the wizard. He screamed as his magic started to seep out of him. I backed away right before he vanished in a white explosion. I had defeated the wizard. Time to get out of here! I rode my broom all the way back to the base, drinking healing potions to recover on the way. As I flew over the forest, I wondered what I would find. As soon as I passed over the forest, I heard cheering. All the rabbits and squirrels had come out to welcome me home, and not a single one of them attacked me. I was so relieved and excited to get back to base. I glided across the lake and saw the crabs celebrating my return. I got to the island, and right there in front of me were Frog, Batty, and Batty's entire family. All their eyes were normal, and they were cheering.
You did it, Zozo! You defeated the wizard!
Batty, it's so good to see you again. I'm so happy you're free of the evil spell. Now I'm going to go inside, eat a nice big meal, and go to sleep. If another evil wizard comes back, you know where I'll be. On day 1, I spawned in as Mario. Hey, it's me, Mario! Except I was just a little baby. I only had 3 hearts. I looked around and saw Princess Peach. She was also just a little baby. Hello, Princess. Do you know where we are?
I have no idea. It looks like some kind of forest.
I looked around and all of the trees close to us looked like they had been burned down. The grass was dead too. We were basically in a little crater. Huh, that's odd. Just then, a bunch of Koopa Troopas came out from the trees and grabbed Peach. Hey, you let her go! I jumped on one Koopa and he took a lot of damage. Neat. I jumped again, but the Koopas got some hits in. I only had a little bit of health left. Before I knew it, some Koopa Troopas were taking Peach away. I didn't have the strength to fight all of them, but I tried to follow after to see where they were going.
You let me go!
Peach struggled, but it was no use. There were too many Koopas and she was tiny. I kept following, but then all of a sudden, they disappeared. Hey, where did they go? I looked around but didn't see them anywhere. It was getting dark out, so I decided to find some shelter for the night. I would look for Peach tomorrow. On day 2, I woke up and went to gather some supplies. I couldn't help Peach if I didn't have some sort of weapons. I gathered some wood from some trees and went to building a crafting table. Then I made some wood tools along with a sword. This'll do the trick. I decided that I wanted to set up a base. I needed to make sure I was safe from Bowser and his goons. I got right to work gathering supplies and clearing out an area next to the water. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was safe. I went to grab some more supplies when I was attacked by some Goombas. Get away, you little shrooms. I drew my sword and went about slicing them up. It was super easy thanks to my new weapons. Yeah, take that! I gathered the rest of my materials and went back to put some finishing touches on the base. Home sweet home. On day 3, I decided to go exploring for some new materials, and I needed some sort of food. My hunger bar was starting to get really low. I managed to find some mushrooms, but I wanted to find some animals. I happened upon a small abandoned house with some pigs and sheep in a pen. Perfect! Just as I was grabbing them, I heard a yell from behind some trees. I quickly ran over and saw my friend Toad. He was being attacked by some guys in masks. Hey, you leave my friend alone! I charged with my sword and smacked the shy guys left and right, but they were too strong. Run, Toad! Together we ran through the trees and lost the shy guys.
Mario, you're alive! And you're small.
Yeah, I'm alive. Why wouldn't I be?
Everyone thought when you went to go save Princess Peach that you died.
I was so confused.
You went to go fight Bowser in his castle a couple of days ago. When you never came out, everyone thought he defeated you.
Yikes, well I'm here, but I'm not as strong as I can be. Some Koopas kidnapped Peach, which I assume was Bowser's doing since they worked for him, but I'm going to save her.
I believe in you.
I invited Toad to live in my base where it would be safe. He happily agreed and we took off. On days 4 to 5, I decided to make Toad a little house for himself. It was a nice little place, and he seemed really appreciative.
Wow, this is great. Thanks.
Of course. I also planted a garden full of my mushrooms. I figured I should probably go out to get some food for Toad as well, so I went exploring. I managed to find some wheat seeds and some carrots, but then I was attacked by some Goombas. Get back! I managed to finish them off in just a few swipes. Man, if only everything was that easy. Just then, I noticed that one of the Goombas had dropped something. It looked like a big mushroom. I checked it, and it was a super mushroom. Whoa, cool! This will come in handy for later. I made my way back to the base with my seeds and began planting. It was really starting to come together. On day 6 to 8, I went to gather some animals. I hadn't gotten any before because Toad and I were attacked, but I was determined to get some now. I headed out near the water when I saw Bowser. He was with some of his Koopas. I decided to attack. Hey, give me back Princess Peach, you overgrown lizard! I charged at Bowser. He wasn't expecting it, and I managed to get a few hits in.
Puny little man, take this!
Just then, Bowser let off a breath of fire. I jumped away, trying to extinguish the flames. Bowser just laughed and took off with his goons. Wow, I forgot he could breathe fire! After another minute of letting my hearts regenerate, I went back to look for some animals. I had had a rough day, but I still needed to take care of me and my friend. On days 9 to 10, I headed back to the base with some sheep and pigs. I made some quick pens for them and herded them in so they wouldn't escape. Then I found Toad and told him about my encounter.
That's awesome that you took on Bowser.
I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I did get some hits in. I knew I could defeat Bowser, I just had to keep training. Then, I had an idea. Hey Toad, I want to build a statue just outside the base. It'll let people know that I'm still here and that I'm going to defeat Bowser once and for all.
That sounds great.
Toad agreed to help and we cleared out an area. We started building and managed to get some of the base done. Can you tell what it's going to be? I also made some modifications to the base, including a lounge area and a bigger garden. It was looking good. On days 11 through 12, I went back to my spawning point. I needed some more information about what had happened before, and I figured that might be a good place to start. I approached the crater and immediately I was sucked into the sand. Ah! Before I knew it, everything had gone black. Then, all of a sudden, I was my old self again. I was big and strong. I was storming Bowser's castle, fighting my way through the Koopas. I defeated them easily and found Bowser in his throne room. He had Peach. Let her go, Bowser. He laughed and pointed a weird-looking shell at me. Peach managed to run forward and grab me as the magic hit us both. We disappeared as Bowser screamed. All of a sudden, I felt something pulling me out of the sand. I gasped for breath and realized it was Toad. Toad, how did you know where I was?
I followed you because you were being super odd this morning. I saw you fall into the sand, and I couldn't get to you for a while. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I remember what happened. I told Toad about my flashback.
Whoa, that's crazy. I wonder where Bowser got a weapon like that.
No idea, but he won't use it again. I'll make sure of it. On days 13 to 15, I went back out to gather some more supplies. I happened upon the same abandoned house where I found Toad and saw the same Shy Guys hanging out around it. I tried to sneak past, but they saw me and attacked. Hey, I wasn't doing anything to you. They didn't listen and just kept hitting me, but I was stronger this time and I managed to defeat all of them. Yeah! Just then, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a regular-sized Mario. I had my mustache back too. Hey, I feel like my old self again. I jumped and realized I could go much higher than before. Wow, this is amazing. I'm basically flying. I gathered the rest of the wood and branches easily with my new jumping ability. I could take on anybody now. On days 16 through 19, I found a cave that had some really great materials in it. I was able to gather some stone for some new tools and weapons. Neat. I went down further into the cave when I saw something floating in the air. What is that? I got closer and I realized it was a boo. Before I knew it, it saw me, but then it covered its face. Okay? Maybe it wouldn't be a problem. I started to mine some of the materials, but then it attacked me. I turned back around and it covered its face again. Okay, I see how it is. I tried to keep my eyes on the boo, but it kept getting attacks in. Eventually, I managed to hit it and it disappeared in a puff. I hurried and made a crafting table, and with my new materials, I made a stone pickaxe, sword, and other tools. Nice! I had some good materials and decided to head back to the base to make some upgrades. On days 20 to 22, I made it back to the base just as Toad started yelling.
Help! It's Bowser! He's at the back door!
I hurried and drew my sword before approaching the backside of the base. I went up onto the top of the wall and looked down. Sure enough, it was Bowser. Hey, get away from here, Bowser! He looked up at me and shrieked.
I knew I would find you eventually. I heard you were in the forest somewhere. Give it up. You're no match for me.
That's enough talking. I jumped down and attacked. With my new ability, I could jump to avoid Bowser, but I couldn't jump on top of his shell. His spikes were too, well, spiky. Ouch!
Princess Peach is mine. You can't have her.
Bowser drew a large breath and then breathed fire at me. I was able to jump and then land a blow on his head.
Ah!
He shrieked again and started to retreat. Yeah, run away, you coward. I'm not through with you yet. I let him go, knowing full well that I would see him again. I knew I could eventually beat him. I wasn't very strong, but I would get there. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the abandoned shack to check it out. I had been too busy trying to defeat the Shy Guys that I didn't even check out the house. Inside were a few beds and tables, but I found a secret hatch. Neat! It led down into the ground into a small room. In the corner was a chest. I opened it up, and there was a bunch of stuff inside. Wow, this is great! I gathered the string, iron ingots, seeds, and then I noticed there was an iron sword. Hey, this is exactly what I need! I drew the sword and took a swipe. It was much better than my stone sword. Wow, I feel great! great, and you know what will make you feel great? Subscribing and clicking the bell. You'll be just as happy as me. I went back up the ladder with my new stuff, excited to show Toad what I had found. On days 27 to 31, I started to work on the statue, but then realized we needed some green dye. Hey Toad, where can I get some green dye?
Cacti! If you grab a bunch of those, we should be able to dye some wool.
Perfect, I'll go looking for some. I traveled through the forest for a while before making it to the desert. It was so hot. Sheesh, this is miserable. I looked around and saw some cacti. As I was approaching, I felt something hit me. What was that? I looked around and saw a pokey. It had blended into the sand really well. But it wasn't just one pokey, there were a bunch, and I was surrounded. Jeez, where did you come from? I drew my new sword and started swatting at the plants. They kept falling on me and I had to dodge their tall bodies. After a minute, I had defeated them all. That was a new one. I grabbed as many cacti as I could hold and headed out of the desert looking for pokies. I saw some and quickly skirted around them. As fun as that was, I don't really want to do it again. I made it back safely and managed to dye the sheep green. I sheared them and started on the statue. It was looking good. We weren't even close to finishing, but it was going to turn out awesome. On days 32 to 33, I went out to look for some more people. I couldn't remember much from my former life, but I did know that I had friends. They were probably hoping that I was still alive. I went through the forest, past the edge of the desert, and went further into the taiga. I was traveling for a long time when I saw a light up ahead. When I got closer, I realized it was a castle. I don't remember whose this is, but I'm sure they are friendly. I approached and was immediately attacked by some Goombas. Get back! Just then, someone came out to help me. It was Daisy. After a minute, we defeated all of the Goombas. Daisy!
You're alive. I'm so glad.
She invited me into the castle and tea was served.
It's so good to see you. I desperately need your help.
With what?
Have you not heard? Luigi has been captured by Wario. Well, I guess you wouldn't have heard, since it happened the day after you disappeared.
I couldn't believe it. Man, did us brothers have bad luck or what? I'll go get him. He is my brother after all.
Oh, thank you.
She gave me directions for the lair that Luigi was being held in, and I started to make my way in that direction. On days 36 to 39, I went looking for Luigi. I knew that I had a brother, but all the details were fuzzy. That weird magic shell that Bowser had used on me was really doing a number on my memory. I made my way through the taiga into a tropical rainforest area. It was raining and I could tell that it was going to get dark soon. Ugh, I'm all soggy. Just then, the rainforest opened up into a clearing. There was a rundown castle and lots of plants surrounding the walls. Looks easy enough. I saw a little bird fly past, and all of a sudden, one of the plants gobbled it up. Piranha plants. I should have known. I scoped out the area again, trying to find a way around the carnivorous plants. I looked up and decided I was going to try to climb one of the trees overhanging the castle. I made my way over and jumped up the branches. All was going well until I stepped onto a slippery branch. Ah! On days 40 to 43, I was falling to my death. I was just about to hit the ground when I realized I was in water. I hadn't noticed the small river running alongside the castle. Phew, that was too close. I couldn't climb the tree, so I guess I had to go the original way. I maneuvered around the plants, slicing them if their jaws got too close to me. Before I knew it, I was at the front door. It wasn't even locked as I went to open it. Amateurs. I walked in and up the stairs where I saw Luigi in a cave.
Brother!
I ran toward him, but then Wario and Waluigi stepped out.
Not so fast, Red. You're ours now.
Yeah, ours.
Give me a break. I attacked the goons and they screamed. What were they expecting? A nice little chat over brunch? I attacked over and over again, and before I knew it, the goons were gone. They dropped a key, which I picked up.
Brother, you're alive!
Yeah, it's all Bowser's fault. I'm getting stronger though, and pretty soon, I'll save Peach. Again.
What is it with these princesses getting captured?
I looked at the cage Luigi was in and raised my eyebrow.
Never mind, just help me out.
I used the key to unlock the door and embraced Luigi. It's good to see you too, brother. Let's get you back to Daisy.
Wait, I need to grab my stuff.
Luigi went over to a nearby chest and grabbed some things. While he was doing that, I looked throughout the ruins to see if there was anything worth taking. I did find some wool, a few emeralds, and a diamond pickaxe. Not bad. We made our way out of the castle, carefully, and back to Daisy's castle. She was ecstatic to see Luigi again.
Thank you. If you would like to stay here, you are more than welcome.
Thanks, but I have a base not too far away.
Well, don't be a stranger. If you need anything, you know where to find us.
On days 44 to 49, I made my way back to the base. I found some sheep along the way and managed to lead them back. I figured that the statue needed some work, which meant more wool. I went straight to dyeing the sheep and shearing their coats. Toad came out and I told him all about my adventures. He helped me on the next part of the statue, and it was looking really nice. Can you guess what it is now? I also used my new pickaxe to gather some better materials for the base. I made the walls taller and added some more security measures. I didn't want Bowser anywhere close to us again. On days 50 to 53, we were under attack. The base was on fire and Koopas were running around. I managed to fight some off when I noticed that Bowser was hanging back in the forest. Coward, why don't you fight me yourself? He roared and the Koopas tried to retreat. I managed to finish off a couple more as I made my way toward Bowser. Just then I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a bigger version of myself. I screamed at Bowser and a plume of fire came out from my mouth. Whoa, I'm Fire Mario! Bowser must have been scared because he immediately began running away with the remaining Koopas. I hurried to put out the flames before it engulfed the entire base. I went to go check on Toad, but he wasn't in the house. I went looking around the base, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Oh no, Bowser must have taken him. It was all my fault. I was too preoccupied with the Koopas and getting to Bowser that I didn't even notice them taking my friend away. I felt awful. I needed to find Toad, but I had no idea where to go. On days 54 to 57, I fixed the base. I needed to make sure that nobody ever could get in again. I made larger and thicker walls, built security towers, and even added some pressure plates with traps. No way anyone is getting in here. I knew I needed to save Toad. I just needed some help first. I decided to go back to Daisy to see what she knew about Bowser and his henchmen. I made my way to her castle and was immediately greeted by Luigi when I got there.
Brother, you've returned.
Not to stay. I need some help. He led me inside and I chatted with him and Daisy about Toad being kidnapped by Bowser.
Bowser doesn't keep prisoners in his castle unless it's Peach. He hands them all off to King Boo. They're friends, and King Boo gets a kick out of scaring people.
That's awful.
I'm sure that's where Bowser would have taken Toad. It's a long way from here and it's very creepy. Everyone calls it Shadowland. Nothing grows there.
How do I get there? They told me where the castle would be and wished me luck.
He has probably imprisoned all sorts of innocent people there. Be sure to help them.
Of course. I wanted to go save my friend, but I needed to make some preparations first. On days 58 to 62, I went searching for more materials. I found a cave and started mining some iron ore. I made some new tools and went digging deeper into the ground. After a while, I found some diamonds. Perfect, just what I was looking for. I was about to mine them when I was attacked from behind. I flipped around and saw a bunch of boos. I'm not in the mood, ghosty boys. I used my new iron sword to swipe at them. They tried to fly away, but I got them all. Take that. I went back to mining my diamonds and was able to gather enough to make some weapons and some armor. Now that's slick. I could take on anything with this getup. I was feeling more confident about saving Toad already. On days 63 to 66, I headed back to the base to work on the statue. I dyed more wool green as well as some yellow and gathered it all up to make the next part of the statue. It's almost there, just one last part to go. I felt happy about my progress and how strong I was getting. I was going to rescue my friend. I knew it. I also know that if you subscribe and click that bell, that would help me to have the support I need to go and rescue my friends. On day 67 to 70, I followed the directions Daisy and Luigi gave me to get to the Shadowland. They were right. It was super creepy here. All the ground was covered in some sort of weird moss and the sky was darker. I only want to stay here for as long as it takes to get my friends, not a minute longer. I approached the castle and opened the tall double doors. They swung easily but made a haunting sound as they did so. I hated that. I walked into the castle and the door swung closed behind me. Oh great, just what I wanted. All of a sudden, a bunch of boos came out from behind the pillars and started attacking me. These guys weren't shy at all about getting up in my face. I'd rather you not do that, thanks. I managed to poof them all out of existence before heading up the grand staircase. King Boo has some fancy digs. I continued up further but couldn't find anyone. They must be in the basement. I continued back down the stairs, looking around for the entry to the basement. There didn't seem to be a staircase anywhere. That's odd. I went into a room that I assumed was some sort of study. I looked at the walls and noticed that one of them looked like a different color than the rest of the bricks. I kept looking and noticed a cool little paperweight on the desk, shaped like a crown. I tried to grab it, but it was stuck to the desk. I tilted it and in doing so, opened up a secret passageway. Nice! On days 71 to 74, I went down the stairs into the creepy dungeon. There were cobwebs everywhere and I thought I heard screams as I descended further. I hope my friends are okay. The stairway opened into a large room full of cages hanging from the ceiling. I could see Toad.
You're here!
I ran to get closer to the cage, but then I felt something hit me from behind. I immediately felt dizzy. I turned around and could barely make out King Boo with his crown and scepter. He laughed at me with his creepy smile.
Someone wants to be a hero. How fun.
He hit me again with his scepter and I felt myself losing health. Fast. The dizziness was overwhelming. What kind of weird magic was this? I'm here to friends my save from you, Boo King.
Yes, the scepter is doing its job. Don't worry, you'll be unconscious in no time.
I waved my sword around mindlessly. Move, you big ball of creepy creep. Before I knew it, I had fallen down and everything went black. On days 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage and my head hurt. Man, that did not go as planned.
You're telling me.
I looked over and could see Toad, along with Toadette, Yoshi, Rosalina, and Birdo. Wow, I guess we're all a bunch of geniuses, huh?
You're still feeling the effects of the scepter. Just take it easy.
Toad was right. I was feeling pretty awful still. I looked around the room and noticed there was a large release button on the wall, but it was too far away. Then I had an idea. Hey everybody, try to take cover, okay? Everyone huddled in their cages as I let out my fire breath. I aimed toward the button and the pressure from the fire activated it. All the cages popped open and we were free. Everyone, get upstairs. We need to escape.
Not so fast.
I looked and saw King Boo coming down the stairs. Everyone backed up against the wall. You won't get me again, Boo. He smiled his creepy smile and charged charged me. I let out another fire breath, which sent him flying. He screamed and tried to go back up the stairs. Not so fast. I let out another fire breath and got him square in the face. He screamed again. I ran up and hit him a few more times with my sword, doing some hefty damage. Then, in the blink of an eye, King Boo was no more.
Yay!
Everyone cheered and started heading up the stairs. We all made it out and headed toward the base, triumphant. On days 79 to 84, we traveled back to the base. It was a long journey, but we were all doing okay. Before we got there, we ran into Daisy and Luigi.
We have just heard the most terrible news.
What is it? Is everyone okay?
For now, but Bowser has figured out a way to amplify the magic of the shell he used on you. He's going to make all of us small and weak and then capture us.
Everyone started freaking out. Everybody, it's okay. I will go and stop him before he has a chance to use the shell.
We thought it would be safer with you. Is it okay if we stay at the base?
Of course. We continued to make our way to the base. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but I needed to stop Bowser before it was too late. On days 85 to 89, we all arrived back at the base. We got right to work making more houses for everyone and planting more food. It was good to know that everyone could be safe here. After a while, Toad came up to me.
I noticed that King Boo dropped his scepter and his crown after you defeated him, so I hurried and grabbed those before heading out.
Good thinking, Toad. He gave me the items. Both seemed powerful, but I noticed the gems were missing in the crown. I wonder if that's what gave it its power. I already knew what the scepter could do, so I didn't think too much of it.
Hey, let's finish the statue. Let's show Bowser just how powerful you really are.
We went to work finishing up the last part of the statue. It had taken a good bit of time, but it turned out amazing. I was super proud of it. We went back down to the base, where Toadette greeted me.
I need to talk to you about the crown Toad found.
Okay, what's up?
Before Bowser captured Toad, the rest of us were all in the dungeon for a long time. I overheard Bowser talking to one of his henchmen about stealing the gems from King Boo's crown. He didn't want Boo to become more powerful than him. Boo assumed it was a servant who stole them, but it was Bowser. I know where he keeps the gems. You should get them so you can use the crown against Bowser.
That's great information, Toadette. Thanks. Now I felt even more confident in my ability to defeat Bowser. On days 90 to 94, I traveled to the place that Toadette had told me about. It seemed like a smaller compound guarded by some Koopas, though these Koopas looked a little tougher than the other ones I had seen before. This must be the place. The security is better. He must be hiding some good stuff here. I snuck around and opened the door. I was met by a bunch of Koopas, which I smacked with my sword. I knocked out dozens of Koopas as I headed toward the small tower in the middle. Nobody could touch me. I was so powerful. I made it to the tower without a scratch and opened the door. I made my way up the stairs and into a small room with a chest in the middle.
Get out of here before I turn you into a nice mantelpiece for the wall.
I turned and saw a Koopa, this one larger than most I had seen. I'd like to see you try. The Koopa charged and actually got a few good hits in. He was a really good fighter. I dodged and swiped with my sword. He put up a good fight, but before long, he was gone. Oof, that was a bit tough. I went to the chest and opened it up. Inside was some gold, a bunch of netherite ingots, as well as the gems. I put the gems in the crown and it started to glow. I didn't want to put it on just yet. I figured I would save it for later. Thanks, Toadette. That was an awesome stash. I headed back to the base with my pockets brimming with all kinds of treasures. On days 95 to 97, I took the netherite I had found and upgraded my diamond gear into netherite armor and weapons. Nice, this is going to be amazing for my fight. I went around the base saying goodbye to my friends.
Goodbye, brother. Good luck in there.
Thanks.
Thanks for all of your help. You go rescue Princess Peach and take Bowser down.
Will do.
Here's some mushrooms for good luck.
Thanks, Toad. You're an awesome friend. Everyone waved as I left the base. It was go time. On day 98, I traveled to Bowser's base. I crossed all sorts of terrains on the way, which made it a long journey, but it was worth it if I could save my friends. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. It's been awesome having you so far. We'd love for you to tell us what you'd like to see next. I made my way over a hill and finally saw Bowser's terrifying castle. Now was my time to shine. On day 99, I approached Bowser's castle. This place is enormous. I entered the castle and it was empty. Huh. Weird. I went up multiple flights of stairs without seeing anyone. Okay, this is really strange. I finally made it to the throne room where I saw Princess Peach. She was full grown now, just like me, but she was in shackles.
Mario, help!
I approached, but then remembered what happened the last time. I looked around and sure enough, Bowser was trying to hide behind a pillar, waiting to attack. Nice try, big guy. He held the shell in his hand, a sort of mechanism strapped to it. It seemed to all be taped together. It honestly looked a little silly. You do that yourself? Is that why all your Koopas left? They saw how incompetent you are and don't want to follow you anymore?
What's it to you? I'm going to rule this land, and nobody is going to stop me.
He went to push a button and nothing happened.
What? Why?
You broke it, Bowser. I tried to tell you to give it up.
You be quiet.
Bowser tossed aside the shell, ready to breathe fire at me. I hurried and put King Boo's crown on. Just then, I leveled up into a huge Mario, just as big as Bowser. I'm Super Mario! I charged at Bowser with all my might. We exchanged blows. He was taking a lot of hits, but he wasn't doing too bad himself. I saw my health starting to decline, but couldn't give up now. Using all my strength, I made one final blow, knocking Bowser down, defeating him.
Yay, you did it!
Princess Peach jumped up and down for joy. We were free! On day 100, Princess Peach and I made it back to the base, safe and sound. Everyone cheered as we came in. It felt good to be a hero. On day 1, I spawned in as a cute and not so ugly little duckling. I'm so tiny, I've only got 2 hearts. I guess that checks out. I'm not strong, I'm just a square of fluff. At least I can fly. Nope, I can't fly yet, but I can swim. And check out my duck family. I've got a mama duck and a bunch of duckling siblings. They were all swimming in a pond. Hey guys, wait up for me. Wow, this sure is peaceful, just paddling along. My siblings and I had a great time splashing around together and following Mother Duck around. We didn't even run into any trouble. As the sun set that night, we made a little shelter and all huddled together to go to sleep. Maybe this will be an easy 100 days of survival. Hey, a duck can dream. On day 2, we were all awoken by the sound of loud barking. I looked around and saw we were surrounded by some mean-looking dogs. Our little duck shelter was super weak. The dogs got right in and started attacking us. Oh no! I would have to be brave. Feel the wrath of my mighty beak. I tried to fight back, but I instantly realized that a little duck stands no chance against big mean dogs. We would have to make a run for it. My duck family and I fled away, waddling as fast as our little webbed feet could take us. But it was no use. The dogs ended up surrounding us again. I have to do something. Whoa! Next thing I knew, I was tumbling fast down a steep hill. Ouch! Oof! You could definitely say I was on a roll. I fell with a splash into some water at the end of the hill. I was nowhere near my family anymore. They were all still far above me. My family was being kidnapped. I did what I could to find my way back in time to save them, but by the time I arrived, everyone was gone. This is not good. What'll I do without them? I made my way back to where I first saw my family. I wish I was playing with the other ducklings right now. I don't want to be all alone. If I wanted to survive long enough to find out what happened to them, I'd have to find someplace to hide. I noticed a little hole along the edge of the pond and ducked into it. No pun intended. I waited out the night there and decided to track down my duck family in the morning. On day 3, I woke up without any issues from the other predators. I hopped out of the hole in hopes of seeing that my family had returned. But to my great disappointment, there were no signs of other ducks around. With nothing else to do, I went around and started collecting and mining materials to build a better shelter. I didn't want to be out in the open if the dogs returned. I'll have to be smarter than the average bird brain when I build this shelter. I need to keep the big, bad dogs out. Eventually, I had a good amount of supplies and started crafting my craft table, wood tools, and then began the beginnings of my little house by the shore of the pond. Location, location, location. This house had a great view. It was the perfect spot for a duck like me. On days 4 to 5, I still needed lots more materials for my base. I had to waddle off a little farther away from the pond to get more materials. Suddenly, I saw a peacock in the distance. I came closer and asked the peacock if I could get some wood. I explained my situation to him. The bird gasped.
My family was kidnapped by a group of dogs, too.
No way! What are the chances of that happening? Do you know where our families were taken? The bird wasn't sure, but explained that they were being kept somewhere so their feathers could be harvested over and over. That's awful, ruining lives just for some measly feathers. We heard a rustling and out jumped an ocelot. The peacock was instantly spooked and ran away. I wish I could get away. But that wasn't an option for me. I would have to be tough. I was only a tiny duck, but I wanted to find my family. I couldn't let this cat ruin my chances to do that. I was able to dodge a lot of the attacks the cat threw at me. Then, without too much trouble, I defeated that rascally cat. You were a bad putty-tat. Once the cat was gone, I could feel myself changing. I was leveling up. I wasn't a little duckling anymore. I was a little bit bigger duckling. I had extra hearts, and let's test out these wings. I can fly a little bit. I'm a flying, talking ducky now. I could only fly a short distance, but it would give me some much needed advantages. This was neat. On days 6 to 8, I returned back to my base and started crafting some stone tools. As I worked, I started hearing something outside. I carefully went and looked around. I was hoping to see my duck family, but instead I saw one of those awful dogs sniffing around my house. I wasn't going to let him get away with his evil deeds. He would be sorry for stealing my family. Hey, you, dog, who are you, and what have you done with my family? The dog refused to give any information. Instead, it lurched at me. The dog probably thought that this would be an easy fight, but this time I had my stone tools. I was ready to take him down, and that's just what I did. Once the dog was gone, I saw that it dropped a note. I picked it up and read it. The note was an order for the dog to find the duck that got away, and to bring me back to the farm located in the Badlands. Aha! I will quack this case soon enough! Now I knew they were somewhere in the Badlands. Having that dog come after me proved to be a very helpful thing after all. On days 9 to 10, I did not want to waste any time. I traveled towards the Badlands. Having my new ability to briefly fly came in handy. Whenever I'd come across ravines or other obstacles, I could flop my way right across them. Up, up, and away! By and by, I made it to the Badlands with no harm done. I spotted the farm, but it didn't look so much like a farm. It looked more like a prison. There were so many sad animals fenced in and caged up. So many birds in cages. That's so mean. Birds need to be free to flap and fly. They shouldn't be cooped up. I noticed all the depressed animals, but I didn't notice the big wolf guard staring me down until I was close to her. I assumed she would yell at me, but instead, she lowered her voice.
You shouldn't be here. I would run far away from here if I were you.
Wait, you're not going to try and capture me?
Not if I don't have to. I'm not exactly happy with what is happening here. I'd leave myself, but things are complicated.
Who is in charge here?
I shouldn't be telling you any of this, but if you must know, he is a powerful monster. A big, big, big dog. Fearsome and powerful. No one dares go against him, or you'll be destroyed.
Just then, another guard came out of nowhere and attacked me. You need to go to obedience school. Didn't anyone tell you not to bite? I tried to fight back, but the guard was too strong. There's only one way out of this. I would have to run. I didn't like the idea of running away from my family, but I knew if I wanted to help them, I'd have to live to fight another day. I took my chance, flapping my wings. I dashed away from the farm. On days 11 to 12, I ran away. I decided to take a rest in a tree. My wings and legs were getting so tired. I was new to this flying thing. I was getting ready to rest my eyes when I heard hooting. At first, I wasn't sure where the voice was coming from, but then I noticed an old owl on a branch.
Who are you, young duck?
Oh, I didn't see you there. Pardon me. I'm Zozo. What's your name?
I am Waymar the Wise. Who are you running away from?
I'm running from these dogs that are rounding up a lot of birds and other animals. They are throwing them in cages. They took my whole family. You should be very careful. You don't want to end up in a cage.
I know of who you speak. For this happened when I was a young owl, not much bigger than yourself. Animals were being taken from their homes and forced to do the bidding of their captors. We fought together and eventually defeated our foe. I'm much too old to fight again, but I can see the world is in need of a hero. Perhaps that hero is you, Zozo.
Who? Me? I don't know about that. I wasn't so sure that I could save the day. I couldn't even defeat one of the guards, but I knew I would do whatever I could to help my family escape. I bid the old owl goodbye and thanked him for his wisdom. I headed back to my base. I needed to regroup and figure out a plan. On days 13 to 15, I woke and realized what time it was. Upgrade time! I wasn't strong enough yet to go up against these dogs in the Badlands, but I could make my base more secure. After all, they could be sending more dogs out to grab me at any minute. So I started improving my little lakeside home. Man, I can't believe Big Dog is capturing all these animals. It's so messed up. If I didn't figure out something quick, more animals would be in trouble. I finished my upgrades and really wished my duck family could see the home I was building for them. I think they would get a quack out of it. Thinking of them made me get an idea. I could totally have them with me, just in a different way. A statue way. You know what time it is, right? Statue making time. I began building and thought about how the ducks taught me a lot. Life should be spent with the ones you love, and being free as a bird. I liked the way it was coming along. The statue family would keep me company until I rescued my real family. I was really getting into building the statue when I heard a bird chirping excitedly. It was the peacock that had run away from the wild ocelot.
Well, bless my soul, it's you. Good to see you're still alive after that run-in with the cat.
Yeah, me too. My name is Zozo, by the way.
I'm Taffy. I noticed your nice lake house. Did you build that all on your own?
Yep, now I'm working on a statue of my duck family that got taken away.
It's hard living on your own, isn't it? I miss my family too.
Say, you could live here with me if you want. We can keep each other safe. I am working on a plan to rescue our families. Taffy thought that sounded great.
As long as I won't be too much of a burden.
I went inside and I made sure that she had everything a bird could need. On days 16 to 19, I decided it was past time I got around to making some iron weapons. I wandered around the area, and after a bit of flying around, I spotted something interesting. It was a mine shaft. Bingo! I entered the mine and followed the maze tracks to some iron. Of course, it wasn't a walk in the park down in the mines. It was a walk in the dark. I met some zombies and skeletons down there that were interested in ending my life. Back off, I've got a sword and I know how to use it. I started swinging my sword at them and had a couple close calls, but I knocked them out pretty quickly. It was good to see I was learning how to hold my own. Still, I didn't care to run into any more creatures, so after I had enough iron, I booked it out of the mine as fast as I could. Back at the house, I readied my supplies and got to work, crafting my stronger weapons and armor with my crafting table. These will give me the edge I need to go up against those tough guards. On days 20 to 22, it was time to release the Quacken. I told Taffy to keep a bird's eye on the base while I returned back to the Badlands. This time, I would be ready. Those guards won't see me coming. because this time I wasn't going through the door, I was flying overhead. I know what you're thinking, I wasn't the most accomplished flyer, but I could fly better than those dogs could. It was worth a try. As I approached the walls of the farm, I took a running start and launched into the air. I'm like a flying ninja.
Yay, there's a duck flying over our walls into the farm. Now that's what you call a bird brain.
Well, I guess I wasn't as stealthy as I hoped I was. I landed near the guards.
Wait a second, it's that troublesome duck that keeps getting away from us. Get him!
I jumped into the air, dodging attacks. Toucan, play at this game, on guard. I got out my weapons and started handing out damage. I couldn't lie, it was a bit daunting. They would get a hit or a bite, but with my armor protecting me, they were toast after a few hits. What a rough day for you dogs, getting your tails handed to you by a little duck like me. Finally, I had finished the guards off. I didn't waste any time searching for my family. I started running all around the ground, searching for my family. I wanted to save all the other animals I saw, and I promised myself I would help them. But first, I had to locate my family. But they weren't in any of the cages or fences. Where are they?
What is all this squawking and hollering?
A chill ran down my spine. A giant creature stomped loudly out of the foreboding base. It was enormous. And big dog, I was terrified.
Guards, why are you letting some pipsqueak cause such a ruckus, eh? Looks like somebody ought to teach this quacker a lesson.
Big dog let out a psst, psst, psst. Out came a tiger. He charged at me. I tried to fly away, but it was no use. This big cat could jump high. I used my weapons, and his attacks broke my armor quickly. I was exposed, and I was losing hearts fast.
Hi-ya!
A big wolf came bounding into the fight. It was the nice guard. She told the tiger to back off.
Let's get out of here.
We ran for it. Who knew how many more guards would come running after us? Or worse, big dog. Shockingly, the tiger didn't chase after us. After a while, we felt safe enough to stop running. You saved my life.
I couldn't stand by any longer, and you're really brave. You might have what it takes to take down the farm.
I failed to save my family for a second time. I think it's pretty obvious I can't do that. The wolf assured me that she believed in me. It was nice, but I still felt awful that I hadn't saved them yet. Where are you going to go now?
Honestly, I didn't think that far ahead. I just couldn't let you become catnip.
I have a base I'm building with another bird friend. Why don't you come live there until you figure things out?
I'd be very grateful to stay with you both.
I led the way back to the lake house. By the way, I'm Zozo. What do I call you?
Awoo is the name.
Seems fitting. On days 23 to 26, we got back to the base. Taffy greeted us, and I introduced Awu to Taffy. I'll need to do some upgrades and add a room for you, Awu. It shouldn't take too long. I made sure to make the room nice and spacious for Awu. It was the best room in the house. I noticed I hadn't added to my statue in a while, so I got to work on that too. You know, I think I'll add my friends to this piece. I'd like to honor all my good friends and family. Just then, Awu came trotting up.
Wow, this is looking great. Everyone watching should subscribe so that they can see all the other cool stuff you'll make.
What do you mean, everyone who's watching? It's just us here.
They know who they are.
On days 27 to 31, I went out exploring to find new resources. I was pecking around when I heard someone who sounded very upset. I followed the voice and came upon a raccoon. Hello, is everyone okay?
No, everything is not okay. I've been kicked out of my house by a big old monster. He thinks he can just push me out of my home because he's mean and can destroy me super fast. Huh, nobody ain't got no respect these days.
I tried to calm the raccoon down and asked him to show me to his house. He walked away and showed me to his home. I approached the door and sure enough, there was a monster cooped up inside. The monster growled and told me to get lost before I became its next meal. Listen, this isn't your home. You really shouldn't take things that aren't—
Are you still talking? Be gone! Be gone or be eaten! Silly food talking back to a predator such as I? If I weren't so cozy in here and already eaten 3 meals today, why, I'd gobble you up in one bite. Scram, pests!
It was clear this rude guy wasn't going to listen to anything I had to say. I'd have to teach this guy some manners, and I had an idea. On days 32 to 35, I started digging near the raccoon's house. What we had here was a reverse Three Little Pigs situation. In this scenario, the big bad wolf is inside the house and I need to blow the house down. And to do that, I started to dig a tunnel deep down under the house until I found some lava pools. This was one pool I did not want to get my feathers wet in. Now that I knew where the lava was, I headed back out of the tunnel. The next part of my plan was to find some creepers. As I came out of the hole, I quickly found some. I'm just here for your gunpowder. Don't mind me. Now that I had gunpowder, I just needed one more thing: sand. I headed to the riverbed and gathered a bunch up. With the gunpowder and sand, I crafted some TNT. I think you might know where I'm going with this. I returned to the tunnel that I dug under the raccoon's house and ran down to the lava pools. I carefully set the TNT next to the lava and began setting a fuse up and out of the tunnel. Match, set, light. Everything was going according to plan. On days 36 to 39, I waddled up to the front door and called out to the monster. The door opened to reveal the grouchy foe. Hello again. I thought I'd let you know that you have a limited time offer to leave this house before I huff and puff and blow this house down.
And how do you suppose to do such a thing?
Easy. I have a brick of TNT nearby and a fuse that's ready for me to light.
TNT?
It's dynamite, and I'll win this fight. I would slither on out of here if I were you. This house isn't worth your life.
You talk too much, Duck. I yield to no one. Be gone!
Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you. I activated the fuse and down the signal went into the tunnel. I took cover. There was a giant explosion and the floor of the house gave way, sending the monster to his fiery grave. Yes, my plan worked. The raccoon was nearby and watched the whole thing.
Was your plan to destroy my entire house?
The raccoon was not exactly happy, despite the fact that the monster was gone. I felt bad. Maybe I had been a little intense with my plan.
Now how am I going to afford to rebuild my house?
Put it on my bill. That was a joke. I don't actually have any money, but what I do have is a really big lake house that would totally fit you. I have other friends staying there too. Why don't you come stay there with us? The raccoon grumbled but agreed. He was still a little sore about his house being blown to smithereens. I showed him the way to the lake house and we made our way there. On days 40 to 43, we arrived back to the lake house. The raccoon sure was a grouchy fellow, but something about him was endearing too, like an angry little elf. They're just adorable when they get mad. You can't help but smile when they yell at you. I showed the raccoon around and created him a raccoon-tastic space for his home. I went over to my statue creations. We had my duck family and Taffy. I loved how it was looking. It was only right to build a statue of the raccoon too. I started building the raccoon statue. Looking at all these family and friends in the statues made me think about another creature that had been so nice to me, Waymar, the wise owl. I didn't want anything to happen to him. Maybe I'll go visit him and see if he would like to stay at the house. We are safer in numbers. I don't want him getting captured. On days 44 to 49, I returned to the tree where the owl lived. I found him sitting under the tree, but he didn't look so good. Mr. Waymar, are you okay?
Who? Ah, Zozo, my dear boy. I was worried you might have been one of the henchmen. I'm fine. I'm just feeling a little under the weather. It's hard to get food and such these days. I can't fly, you see. I'm kind of stuck in this tree.
That was not good. I couldn't stand by and let Waymar suffer. I told Waymar that I wanted him to come live at the house with us and we would help take care of him. He was so grateful but didn't know how he would get there. I'll figure out something. I'll find a way to carry you there. I immediately thought of the mine carts in the mines. Oh, those would work great. I just needed a way to push it along. I headed back to the mine and started collecting the tracks for the cart. I would make a track from the owl's tree to the base. That should be enough. I took everything back to the owl and laid some tracks down and rebuilt the cart. Climb aboard. Once he was in, I pushed Waymar along in the cart, picking up the tracks as I went along and setting them ahead until I made it all the way back to the lake house. I was excited to build him a room in the house. My little misfit family was growing so much. Waymar was super grateful for the help. He couldn't believe he had us to care for him now. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
I'm an owl.
On days 50 to 53, I decided to go deeper in the mine to find some diamonds. I hadn't seen diamonds yet, but I was certain I'd run into some if I went a little farther in. As I went deeper, I ran into a big stinky toad. I smell something most foul, and it's not me. Aha! Care for a slice of my sword? I swung my sword while the toad tried hitting me with his tongue. He was no match for me though, and I quickly took him out. I went a little farther and ran into some tarantulas too. Ooh, these guys creep me out. I made quick work of them, swinging my sword as hard as I could. They too were soon gone. That's when at long last, I had found the diamonds. I mined them up as quickly as I could and then headed back home to make them into things. I made a strong pair of armor and some super strong weapons. As they say, diamond weapons hurt forever. I definitely felt I had a better chance of kicking bad guy booty with these upgrades. I just needed to figure out where my family was being held. As I was crafting, one of my friends told me Waymar needed to see me, so I went to his room. Hey, Waymar the Wise, you wanted to see me?
Oh, Zozo, I have loved being here. I feel so much happier. I hate to seem ungrateful for asking you anything, so you know what? Never mind. It was silly anyways.
No, please, I want to help. I'm happy to do anything. Anything at all.
Well, okay, if you insist. I have the most overwhelming craving for a tropical fish. I loved eating it when I was younger. My siblings and I would devour them when we were in the nest together. Oh, how I miss those days.
Sure, that's no trouble at all. I'll go right away. Waymar was so excited to hear I would help him. I started on my quest immediately. On days 54 to 57, I finally reached the water. There was a perfect spot for catching tropical fish. Now, if I was a gorilla or hogland, I might have trouble getting this fish, but I was a duck, so I was in luck. I paddled out into the water and dove after the fish. Okay, this is a little trickier than I thought. I spotted a school of fish and started swinging my sword. Eventually, I got one. I kept swinging until I had gotten a few more. Well, now to simply swim back to the shore with no problem. Ah! Somebody bit my tail feathers. It was a shark. I was under attack. Actually, I was more over attack as the shark was below me. Oh, you like picking on smaller fish, do ya?
Wait a second, don't you eat smaller fish too?
Well, yeah, but that one was supposed to be mine. Now scram! I fought the shark. It was tough, but eventually I won thanks to my upgrades. Oh, check me out, I'm growing. I'm a much bigger duck now. I had leveled up, finally. Hey, maybe I can fly now. I thought a happy thought, took off running, and started flapping my wings. I zoomed into the air. This was amazing. I can fly, I can fly, I can fly! On days 58 to 62, I arrived back in the base with the fish. As I climbed into the base, I saw that Waymar was even worse off. Oh no, Waymar, you don't look so good. Here, I brought you your favorite fish. This should help.
Thank you, Zozo. I don't have the energy to eat it just yet. Let me just put it here. I remember when Mother would return home with the fish back in 1932, just as you just did. She liked them lightly pan-fried and put a dollop of cranberry sauce on the side.
Waymar? Waymar? Waymar suddenly passed away with a smile on his face. I wondered if I had gotten him the fish sooner, if I would have saved him. But I was also glad he took his final breath, knowing he was cared for and not alone. He was going to be very missed. On days 63 to 66, I was moping around the base. I felt so sad, and that was okay. I just needed to let out my feelings and be upset. I went over to the statues and had a good sob while I added another one to the bunch. I wanted to honor Waymar's memory by adding him to the group. The statue made me feel better, and I could smile again. There was my wise friend Waymar staring back at me. This place was becoming a whole museum full of statues. It was beautiful. On day 67 to 70, Awu came up to tell me that they had found something.
It's a note from Waymar. You're going to want to read this.
I took the note and read it. Zozo, check out the old fort east of here. Your family might be there. And remember, things aren't always what they seem. Just because you can't hear or see something doesn't mean it isn't working. Believe in yourself and your plans. What was that supposed to mean? It was a nice sentiment, but I feel like it was some kind of coded message. I'd try to remember that. Well, Awu, looks like I need to follow these clues. Can you help keep watch over the lake house while I'm gone? Awu was up for the task. In the morning, I would take my leave. On day 71 to 74, I went in search of the hidden prison in the tundra. As I traveled across the snowy forest, I spied a fort hiding in the mountains. Is that it? I saw that the fort was active and that there were guards that looked just like the ones from the farm. They were carrying large shipments of feathers out of the fort. This place must be a prison where the other ducks and birds are being held captive. They are harvesting their feathers. My blood boiled. I didn't waste another moment. I drew my diamond weapons, and with my diamond armor, I charged in. I started swinging my sword with all my mighty duck strength. Those guards didn't stand a chance. I couldn't believe how easily I blew through them all. Feel the wrath of my revenge. I made my way into the prison, cutting down anyone who stood in my way. I was feeling like I could take on anything at this point. On days 75 to 78, I reached a room that looked important. I barged in, unafraid, and saw the tiger that had almost destroyed me back at the farm. I felt a tinge of fear creep back into me. Did I have what it took to go up against him? Regardless, what choice did I have now? My family could be in this very room. I shook off my fear and went head-to-head with the cat. Or clawed a sword, rather. This tiger was still tough. I got lots of good hits in, but he was so strong. It wasn't doing that much damage. He was good at blocking, too. He even scratched me a few times. And I saw tons of birds in cages. Maybe my family wasn't here. As we fought, I noticed a big lever. It looked important. I took a chance and hit it hard. All of a sudden, the cage door swung open. The birds were free. The tiger was in shock at his sudden misfortune. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Some of the birds started to attack him. While he was distracted by all of the birds flying out of their cages, I was able to attack his weak spot. He was done for. The tiger was no more. I looked around the room and saw my baby duck siblings. They were so excited to see me and couldn't believe how much I had grown. I was so relieved to see them. And where's Mama Duck? The ducks look sad.
Mama got taken by the big bad dog to his mansion. The other birds say that it's on some sort of volcano.
That seems like a bad place to build a mansion. This dog isn't as smart as I thought. Don't worry, little ducklings. I will rescue Mama. On days 79 to 84, I spent some time searching the room where I had originally found the tiger. You never know what kind of information you can find, and this tiger was clearly a leader of this operation. He had all sorts of confidential information laying around, and if nothing else, I could take his valuables. He didn't have any use for them now that he was toast. I looked all around and found a treasure chest. Bingo! I opened it up and found a map. I looked closer. Well, what'll you know? A map right to the volcano mansion. And what else do we have here? I saw that there was a whistle in there too. I blew it, but nothing happened. Why he kept a broken whistle, I'll never know. But I'll just keep it, just in case. With the room fully inspected, I went back to the ducklings. Alright you guys, let's get the quack out of here. I built you a home that's super secure. Let's go! I saw some of the birds that had helped in the fight against the tiger. They looked unsure of where to go and what to do. I invited them back to the lake house with us. They were very grateful and agreed to come with us. We waddled as fast as we could back to the base. On days 85 to 89, I returned safely home with all my ducklings in a row. I immediately started expanding the house and made more rooms for all of the birds. They loved their new living quarters. Sure beats a small cage. Awu and Taffy had something exciting to show me while I was away.
We built something very enchanting.
They had found items to make an enchanting table and had what we needed to enchant my armor. Wow, thank you! This is incredible! If I wanted to rescue Mama Duck, I needed to be as ready as possible for going up against Big Dog. This would give me a fighting chance. On days 90 to 94, I walked over to my field of statues. They were almost all done. I just needed to finish building the rest of Waymar's statue. I was so excited to reveal all of my statues to my friends. As I looked at Waymar's statue, I thought about the strange note he had given me.
Just because you can't hear or see something doesn't mean it isn't working.
You know, that gives me an idea about something. I put the finishing touches on the statues and it was finally finished. A field of all my favorite friends. What a sight! On days 95 to 97, I knew it was time to go rescue my mom. I followed the map to the mansion on the volcano. This place was spooky. I could see the appeal of building a mansion on the volcano now. That is, if you're an evil villain, it's perfect for that vibe. I had to admit, I felt a bit scared, and that was okay. That didn't mean I was going to run away. No, I was saving my mother, come dogs or lava. I brandished my weapons and started fighting my way through the guard dogs along the path to the door. On day 98, I was exploring the mansion when I went into a room with a strange-looking bunny man inside of it. What the? Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Oh wait, I'm you! You're me! Yeah, you're me from my bunny video! Oh yeah, that was an awesome adventure! When everyone is done watching this video, they should go check that one out. Amazing! Well, I've got a family to save. See ya! On day 99, I made it into Big Dog's lair inside of the spooky mansion. After defeating tons of guards, I felt something funny happening. I was leveling up. This is just what I needed. I needed to be a mighty duck to defeat a massive dog. I'm as strong as I can get now. I was super buff. I was going to give Big Dog some trouble with my new strength. He's going to have to answer to this firecracker. It was time for the ultimate smackdown. I looked around the room and saw Mother Duck in a cage. Mom!
Zozo, what are you doing here?
I'd like to ask you the same question, troublesome quacker. Looks like you haven't learned your lesson. And you've been hitting the gym, I see. Like that's gonna help you.
I'm here to take my mother home.
Can't you see me and your mom are madly in love with each other? Trying to split us up, are you?
I'm not in love with you, you freak!
You will be if I keep you locked up long enough. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, love. Look it up. Works in the fairy tales all the time.
Dude, you've got some serious issues. This is no way to treat someone you like or love. That's no way to treat anyone. What a weirdo. This dog needed to be put out of his misery. I drew my weapon and attacked Big Dog. I gave him everything I had. Every bit of strength I could muster went into every hit. But he was still too strong. I was barely making a dent. Compared to him, I was like a yappy chihuahua. My blows were just not dealing enough damage. Maybe he was right. Maybe I couldn't defeat him. Had I come all this way just to fail? Then I remembered the broken whistle in the chest.
Just because you can't hear or see something doesn't mean it isn't working.
I pulled out the whistle and blew it. Nothing. But that's how it was supposed to work. It was a dog whistle. Only dogs can hear it. Big Dog stopped attacking and sat politely. Good boy. Now play dead. Big Dog's armor came flying off of him.
Go look!
Big Dog was completely hairless. Big Dog explained that he wanted all the feathers to cover his naked self. There is nothing wrong with being hairless, and I'm sure many of us would have donated feathers to you, but you chose to ruin people's lives over this. I have had enough with your silly excuses. You aren't going to cage up anyone ever again. With that, I gladiator kicked him out of his window and down into the river of lava. On day 100, I let my mom out of the cage and we went back to the lake house. The ducklings were so excited to see their mother. We all had a wonderful reunion. I introduced everyone to my new family. Everyone couldn't stop raving about all the crazy adventures we'd had and how great the lake house was. We were going to live happily ever after. No more living in cages, just freedom and family. On day 1, I spawned as an itty-bitty fire Godzilla. This is rad. But wait, I've only got 3 hearts. What? That's not rad at all. But when I focus real hard, I can make little fires. Look, I just set that tree on fire. Oh, it looks like I upset the baboons who were living there. They're coming after me. I better hightail it out of here. I ran off deep into the forest. Being a tiny baby fire Godzilla wasn't working out great for me so far. Maybe if I can get bigger and stronger, I can use my powers to help people, rather than just burn their houses down. That'll help me make some friends around here. Maybe that big, tough, warped Moscow will be my friend. Hey, I'm Zozo. I'm pretty new around here. Wanna hang out?
Hey, not so fast, buddy. You wanna hang out here? You gotta pay the toll. Empty your pockets, little fire Godzilla.
But I don't have any money.
Then I guess you better come with me, Zozo. If you can't pay, you gotta work.
That was another bridge I'd already burned. I needed to run before the warped Moscow could get his big, buggy hands on me. I grabbed a few sticks from the forest and hid in a cave. These would make some pretty good torches with a little bit of my fire, so it won't be too dark in here. I proceeded to place down some torches before deciding to go to sleep for the night. I'm gonna need to get a lot stronger if I want to last out here. This place isn't kind to baby fire Godzillas like me. On day 2, I woke up in the cave to find my torches had gone out overnight. It was so cold and dark. What if there are spiders in here? I should get moving. I left the cave and entered the forest to explore my surroundings. Whoa, this forest is huge! So many trees, so much wood to burn. I needed to be careful in here, or I'd set everything on fire. When I build my own base, it should probably be made out of stone. I needed to break down a couple of these trees and gather some sticks and wood to make a wooden pickaxe. Perfect! This will be great for mining stone. Now I needed to find a good place to build my base. Maybe somewhere around here? Wait, has somebody already built a cabin here? What's happening here? A druid rushed out of the cabin.
Hey, keep your distance, friendo. I just finished this place. I don't need you burning it down.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to burn your cabin down. I just needed to find a place to make my base.
Base? What? Are you one of Locknar's guys?
What? No, I'm Zozo. Who's Locknar?
He's a necromancer. He's trying to raise an army of the dead. He and his boys have been harassing people about money around here lately.
The druid returned back into his cabin after bidding me farewell. Money? That sounds just like that warped Moscow from yesterday. He must have worked for this Locknar guy. I better start mining for stone near the druid's cabin. He'd probably make a decent neighbor. By day 3, I started gathering materials for my base. I used my wooden pickaxe to start mining stone in a cave next to the druid's place. Hope he doesn't mind a little construction noise.
Hey, keep down that racket, Zozo. I'm reading.
Now that I know there's a necromancer out there building an army of the dead, I should probably go pay attention to home security. First of all, I took the time to clear out an area and build a big stone wall. This should keep out that warped Moscow if he tries to hassle me for more money. And I won't be able to accidentally burn this wall down either. While I was at it, I needed to get myself a weapon. Maybe I could use some of my spare sticks and wood to make a wooden sword. Hopefully I don't burn it to a crisp. Now I'm looking well prepared. While I was making my way towards the druid's cabin, I noticed something crawling out of the forest. It looked like an elder skulk. Better take care of it before it gets too close to my base. Don't you know it's rude to trespass, Mr. Skulk? Let's go! Hi-ya! With this sword, the elder skulk was no match for me. After I hit it a few times, skillfully dodging its attempts to hit me back, it went scuttling off into the forest again. Nobody beats Fire Godzilla! And clearly that fight made a big difference, because I was starting to get bigger and stronger. I had 5 hearts now, and I could let out a terrifying Godzilla roar! On days 4 and 5, I decided to go a little further into the forest to mine some more stone for my base. The wall was nice, but it wasn't exactly cozy. I needed a roof over my head. I already used some of my spare stone to make a stone pickaxe. But when I ventured out into the deep part of the woods, I ran into an old enemy, the warped Moscow.
You really thought you could get away without paying the toll? You really have no idea who you're dealing with, kid. You don't want my boss to have a problem with you.
Your boss? Is he a necromancer?
You're smarter than you look, Zozo. My boss, Locknar the Necromancer, he's gonna come take over all this soon enough. And if you're not with him, you're against him.
I'd never be the guy who wants to take over a forest by force. I may burn stuff down sometimes, but I'm still a good guy.
Then I guess I've got to destroy you.
The Moscow came at me so fast, I was knocked back off my feet. I pulled out my wooden sword and tried to parry all of his attacks.
You can't hold me off forever, Zozo!
But I was a little faster than he was. Even with my wooden sword, I was able to get the jump on the warped Moscow and defeat him. Looks like I can handle myself decently now. I should probably spend a little more time out of the forest though.
On day 6 to 8, I depleted my mine in the forest. At least I was able to find some iron ore though, and craft myself a cool iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Let's just see someone try to mess with me now. But after getting attacked by the Mosco, I wanted to get away from the forest for a while. I decided to take a trip up to the mountain and enjoy that clean mountain air. And I can't burn anything down up here either. It's perfect. But suddenly, a mountain troll approached me, and it seemed like he didn't want to share the mountain with anyone.
This mountain isn't big enough for the both of us, even if you are the puniest fire Godzilla I've ever seen.
I'm just visiting, man. You don't need to be so mean about it.
How dare you call me mean? I'm gonna crush you into dust for that.
He was so big, and he started chasing me. My only advantage was that I was much faster than him, so I could keep my lead. That's where my iron pickaxe came through. With my iron pickaxe, I quickly mined a big hole in the ground, then carried on running. With my trap set, I decided to taunt the mountain troll by calling him a slowpoke. He ran up to me not looking down, until he fell into the hole and he couldn't climb back out.
A little help in here?
I think you've earned yourself a timeout, mountain troll. On days 9 and 10, I decided to travel further up into the mountain until I found a mountain cave hidden among the rocks. Maybe there will be some treasures hidden in here. Better take a look. I walked into the cave, iron sword at the ready, using the natural light of my fire to light the way. That's when I hit the jackpot. Gold ore deposits. Now that's what I'm talking about. I started to mine the gold when suddenly, despite my fire, it started to get extremely cold inside of the cave. It sent a chill down my spine.
Hello there, little creature.
I turned, and that's when I saw him right there, staring at me. It was Lochnar the Necromancer. Somehow, I could feel the power coming off of him. It was time for me to even the score and use my Fire Godzilla roar. But Lochnar just laughed in response.
Be quiet, boy. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? When my army walks the earth, every flame like yours will be snuffed out.
I wasn't gonna take that sitting down. I ran at Lochnar with my iron sword and prepared to hit him. But with one strike from him, I was thrown back across the cave.
You're so weak. It's pathetic. You're not even worth destroying yet. Perhaps when you're a little stronger.
And with a flash, Lochnar was gone, and I was left terrified. If even my Fire Godzilla roar did nothing, what hope did I have against him? But it wasn't all bad. I noticed then that I still wasn't alone in the cave. There was a fire villager waiting in there too. When Lochnar was gone, he ran towards me.
I can't believe you survived. Lochnar has been going after all of the flame creatures in the land.
But why? What have we ever done to him?
He's a necromancer. He's trying to raise an army of the undead. And everyone knows the weakness of the undead is fire. He needs to destroy us because we're the biggest threat to him.
Then you're not safe here either. You better come back to my base so we can figure out a plan to stop this. On days 11 through 14, I started expanding my base to make room for my new fire villager friend. Just like me, he was perfectly suited to a fireproof stone house. I built rooms for him and me, and another room where we could hang out together. But this took a lot of stone, and I soon needed to leave the base and mine more. I returned to the mine near the druid's cabin, and even though it was exhausted, it still contained some materials. While I was gathering more stone, I suddenly felt that cold feeling again. Oh no, does this mean the necromancer is behind me again?
Not quite, Zozo. I'm merely one of his servants. He brought me back to life, so I will serve his every order, including destroying you!
It was the Black Death, a plague doctor brought back from the dead. I drew my sword and prepared to battle, but by then, the Black Death was already on me. He hit me and took out some hearts. This guy was way more powerful than me. I ran further into the mine, hoping to find some kind of escape route. But the Black Death was gaining on me. I needed some kind of advantage. Wait, is that a chest? It was a chest. Maybe something in there can save me. I opened up the chest and found a fire aspect enchantment inside. This would give my sword flaming strikes. Perfect! I quickly used the anvil next to the chest to apply the enchantment to my sword. Take this, Black Death! Boom! That got him. The Black Death was set on fire and went running back out of the cave. Fire really does scare off the undead. Safe from the Black Death for now, I traveled back to my base and started making the wall even taller. But now, knowing just how effective fire was against the undead, I made some flaming torches to put on the wall. This should keep out any uninvited guests. On day 15, I went to check on the fire villager and make sure he was settling in nicely. I know from first-hand experience, it isn't easy to be a fire creature.
I find it very comfortable in here, Zozo. Thank you. It's much nicer than having to stay in some damp old cave all day.
So, tell me, what's the deal with this Lochnar guy? Everyone's been telling me that he's trying to raise some kind of army of the undead. Who is he?
Everything you've heard is true, but there's more. People say that Lochnar is over 1,000 years old, and because he's already dead, he can't be destroyed. Centuries ago, he was defeated by a legendary hero and locked up in the swamp of vileness. But somehow, he came back again, and he's trying to finish what he started all those years ago, making an army of the undead so powerful that he'll rule the world forever.
Can the legendary hero come back to defeat him? It sounds like we really need him right now.
That was a long time ago, Zozo. The legendary hero is probably extremely old now, if he's even alive. No, if we want to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer, we need to find a new hero.
Like who?
Well, like you, Zozo. You survived an encounter with him and saved me back in the cave.
No way. Have you seen me? I'm just a little fire Godzilla. The only reason I survived was because he said I was too weak to be worth destroying. I'd stand no chance against him in a real fight. Do you think I could survive a fight with Lochnar? I think I'd need to get a lot stronger first. On days 16 to 19, I started putting together a plan with the fire villager. If Lochnar is destroying fire creatures because he knows they're a threat to his undead army, we better gather up as many fire creatures as we can.
Great idea, Zozo. If memory serves, Lochnar's undead minions were keeping a Blaze prisoner in an underground cavern near here.
Then I guess I better go rescue him. After hours of searching the forest, I found a secret entrance to an underground area, sneakily hidden among some trees. Hopefully I'm not too late to help the Blaze down there. I rushed through the entrance. I made my way into the insides of the underground cavern and took a look around, trying not to draw too much attention to myself. I saw a lava river running through the bottom of the cavern, so my fire wasn't too out of place here. Wait, are those wither skeletons? They were! A bunch of wither skeletons were scattered everywhere along the path leading deeper into the cavern. They must be guarding the prison cell where the Blaze is. I ran in with my new fire aspect sword and started to fight them off as I went deeper and deeper into the cavern. After I took most of them, I unleashed my fire Godzilla roar. It scared some of the wither skeletons so bad, they ran off faster than their bones could shake. Clearly, all of this fighting was worth some pretty great XP, because I grew to almost twice my size, with almost twice the armor and twice the hearts. Maybe I can be strong enough to take on Lochnar, with the right training. But first, I broke open the prison with my iron pickaxe and freed the Blaze.
Thanks for getting me out of there. It was really starting to get stuffy.
Don't mention it, buddy. How did you get captured?
Well, I was out here searching for the Kyther of Light when I got ambushed by all those skeletons.
You were looking for what?
The Kyther of Light. It's the weapon that the legendary hero used to defeat Lochnar all those years ago. It's said to be the most powerful weapon against the undead in the world.
Oh, wow. Then I should probably start looking for it too. Come back to my base. I want to know more. On days 20 to 22, Blaze and I returned to the base, only to see it being attacked by a horde of zombies. Even the torches I'd added to the walls didn't seem to scare them off. Lochnar was making some really tough undead for us to face. Thankfully, with Blaze at my side, the fight didn't last long. With his flames and my fire sword, we were able to take on the zombies and send them back from whence they came. So long, you undead meanies.
It feels so good to be free and fighting again.
Glad you're back in the groove, Blaze. But while the zombies weren't too difficult to defeat, this incident did make me realize our base needed some better defense. Or at least something to scare off potential attackers. That's when I had a great idea for the statue. The perfect thing to keep the undead away. I started working on the base of the statue with excitement. This is sure to keep the mobs at bay once it's done. Can you tell what it's gonna be? And if you want more adventures like this, subscribe to Zozo, because believe me, the best is yet to come. With Blaze here at the base, I've still got to do one more thing. Add a new room for him. With me, Blaze, and the fire villager all together, we're a fiery force to be reckoned with. On days 23 to 26, the base came under attack worse than ever before. I woke up to find the base surrounded by mutant skeletons, who were bigger, faster, and stronger than even wither skeletons. I ran out with my fire aspect sword and started attacking them, one by one. Each mutant skeleton took several hits with the sword to down. These guys were tougher than any grunt enemy I'd faced so far. A little help here, guys? Luckily for me, Blaze and the fire villager were there to help. With the three of us working together, we were able to drive off the remaining mutant skeletons back into the woods. That'll teach you to attack our base, skellies. Oh look! One of the mutant skeletons dropped a bow. Yes. That's perfect. I needed a good long-range weapon for my arsenal. What should I do next?
Zozo,
Yes, Blaze?
now we fought off the mutant skeletons, you should start exploring the deep dark woods for the Kyther of Light. We need it to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Good idea, Blaze. I journeyed out into the deepest, darkest part of the forest, knowing it would be the exact kind of place where Lochnar's minions would be waiting for me. And I was right, but I wasn't the only one. There was a fire elemental being surrounded by mutant zombies. The strongest zombies yet. Lucky for me, I had my new bow. I pulled it out, keeping a distance as I fired arrows at the mutant zombies. They seemed so shocked by my surprise attack, they retreated further into the dark of the forest. I'd saved the fire elemental. Wanna come back to my base, little buddy? I'm collecting fire creatures. He seemed eager, so we headed back to the base. I built a new room to house the fire elemental, and built in a new base defense. Large holes dug into the ground around the base, so any stumbling zombies thinking of attacking would fall right in. I'm feeling safer already. On days 27 to 31, I started off by asking Blaze to tell me everything he knows about the Kyther of Light, seeing as it may be our best chance to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
It's an ancient weapon, Zozo, supposedly created by a powerful group of sorcerers, for if there was ever a great evil they needed to strike down. The legend goes that only someone pure of heart can wield the Kyther. To a being of evil, it's useless.
But how can I find it? Even the most powerful weapon in the world is only useful if it's in our hands.
Perhaps the legendary hero would have hidden the Kyther in the last place the undead would think to look, the Nether.
Oh no, the Nether? That's one of the most dangerous places out there. I guess if it's the only place I can find the Kyther, it's off to the Nether I go. With my sword and my bow, I set off for an old Nether portal in the woods. It's now or never. Yeah, bad joke, sorry. On the other side of the portal, it was all flames and lava. A fire Godzilla honestly looked kind of at home here. What didn't look at home was a huge, scary pigless running straight towards me.
You must be Zozo. I guess you're here looking for the Kyther of Light. Brave kid.
And I guess you're here to find the Kyther too, before I can find it.
You're a smart kid too, but I've got orders direct from Lochnar. Only one of us is leaving the Nether. Let's go.
I tried to draw my bow, but the pigless was too fast for me. I was lucky enough to pull out my sword just in time to counter his attack. Before he knew it, I hit him back and eventually managed to hit him in a way and made him touch lava. And due to that, he screamed a bit and moved away.
You're tougher than you look, but I'll get you next time, you little twerp.
And with that, he ran off into the depths of the Nether. On days 32 to 35, I traveled deeper into the Nether, leaving the wastes and entering the Crimson Forest. Wow, this place is super scary. If the legendary hero really hid the Kyther here, he must have been one tough warrior. The Nether has some of the scariest mobs around, but I was surprised to see a familiar face amongst all the trees and lava. It was a baboon, just like the one I met on my first day here.
Hey, aren't you the one who burned down my tree?
I'm sorry, Mr. Baboon. It was an accident. I'm a fire Godzilla. Sometimes I burn stuff down.
Whatever. It doesn't matter now. What are you doing in the Crimson Forest?
I'm looking for the Kyther of Light to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Wait, you too? He attacked my family with some zombies. I heard the Kyther might be hidden in the Soul Sand Desert. Let's travel together. We have better odds.
Sounds good to me, Mr. Baboon. We traveled together to the Soul Sand Desert, which was every bit as bleak and barren as the name suggests. I then noticed Lochnar the Necromancer standing on top of a floating island.
Hello again, Zozo, was it? Nothing about you was particularly memorable.
You're all smug now, Lochnar, but you won't be when we find the Kyther and defeat you.
You won't be able to find anything when you're dead.
Suddenly, the ground below me and Mr. Baboon began to shake. I drew my bow and fired at Lochnar, but he didn't even flinch. It was useless. If we couldn't escape, we'd be done for. That's when I had an idea. I turned and fired my bow at one of the ghast. That should get the attention of him and his ghastly friends. With Lochnar preoccupied with the ghast, Mr. Baboon and I ran away, back towards the Nether portal.
That was some quick thinking back there, Zozo. You really saved our skins.
I couldn't have done it without you. Come back to the base with me. You can join our anti-Lochnar squad. And with that, we exited the Nether. On days 36 to 39, I returned back to the base with the baboon. I built him a little treehouse because he didn't find the stone fortress as comfy as me and my fire creature friends. I gathered my new basemates together, the fire villager, Blaze, the fire elemental, and the baboon. I needed to hear their thoughts on my hunt for the Kyther. It wasn't in the Nether Wastes, the Crimson Forest, or the Soul Sand Desert. If the Kyther really is hidden in the Nether, where could it be?
You're telling me you didn't check the Basalt Deltas?
The Basalt Deltas? What's that?
It's the most dangerous place in the Nether, Zozo. If the legendary hero really didn't want the Kyther to be found, that'd be the best place to hide it.
The most dangerous place in the Nether? I can't go there yet. The rest of the Nether was already dangerous enough. If the Kyther was really in the Basalt Deltas, I needed to get stronger to get there, and I needed a little more inspiration. That's why I started working more on the statue. I must say, it's coming along quite nicely. From days 40 to 43, Blaze approached me, knowing I was feeling nervous about going back into the Nether.
Look, Zozo, the Nether is a scary place. I know, I used to live there. But sometimes, when you can't fight your way through, you need to sneak.
But Blaze, I can't sneak. I'm a fire Godzilla. I'm too easy to spot.
I know, but that's where my new plan comes in. There's a potion recipe hidden in a book I left in a lava canyon near here. If you can go get it for me, I'll make you a potion you'll find extremely useful.
So that's exactly what I did. I found my way to the underground lava canyon. It was really hot down there, but thankfully, fire Godzillas don't mind the heat. There had to be a chest down there somewhere. If someone left a book down here on its own, it'd just burn up. But my thoughts were interrupted when suddenly a huge serpent tried to grab me. It was a heck of a jump scare. I'm not on the menu, so slither on by, you reptile. I managed to hit it and knock it into the fiery depths below. That will teach you to mess with a fire Godzilla. As I continued to explore, I saw the chest tucked away in a corner. Let's take a look inside. A book! Jackpot! I then proceeded to leave the lava canyon and make my way back to the base. I gave the book over to Blaze, and he made me a potion.
This right here is a potion of invisibility. It might make your journey into the Basalt Deltas a little less dangerous.
Thanks, Blaze. This is perfect. On days 40 to 49, I made my way back to the Nether portal deep in the forest. Here goes nothing. After landing in the Nether, I made my way through to the Basalt Deltas. My friends weren't kidding when they said this place was dangerous. It looks impossible to even build here. I took the potion of invisibility and started to sneak through. There were sheer cliffs everywhere. I had to be careful so that I didn't fall.
Help me, please, someone help me.
Oh no, is that an illager? What's he doing in here? And why is he surrounded by Endermen? I can't just leave him like that. I need to help him, even if it means wasting my invisibility. Still keeping my distance, I pulled out my bow. I opened fire at the Endermen, causing them to teleport away. That gave me a window to get the illager out of there. Come with me if you want to live. Me and the illager ran for the hills until we were out of the Basalt Delta and back in the much safer Soul Sand Valley.
Thank you, kind stranger. You saved me. How can I ever repay you?
You can tell me everything you know about the Kyther of Light. I need it to defeat Lochnar the Necromancer.
Wait, the Kyther of Light? That reminds me of an old poem I used to hear all the time when I was a kid. Who seeks the Kyther, brave and true, venture into the forest blue.
The forest blue. Wait, that sounds like the Warped Forest. It's the only place in the Nether I haven't checked. Come with me, we'll go find it. On days 50 to 53, me and my new friend the illager made our way into the Warped Forest, one of the slightly nicer parts of the Nether. I might have even enjoyed it if we weren't ambushed by that pigless I fought earlier.
Hey, looky here. It's that dweeb, Zozo.
Name calling? Really? That's just uncalled for, man.
No, Zozo. What's uncalled for is you being here. Me and the rest of Lochnar's boys have already found the Kyther, and it's far away from here. You're gonna get destroyed in the Nether for nothing.
That's it. You're going down, Pigless. But Pigless pulled a dirty trick. He didn't go for me. He went straight for the illager, taking him down immediately. No, you can't do that.
I can do whatever I want. Let's tango, Zozo.
We clashed again, but this time I was stronger than before. I dodged his attacks easily, and with a few well-placed strikes from my fire sword, Pigless was done for. With him gone, I was all alone in the Nether again. Maybe Pigless had lied about them taking the Kyther. I had to explore and find out. There was a bastion remnant, an ancient ruined fortress nearby, and it seemed like the exact kind of place the legendary hero might have hidden the Kyther. Instead, all I found was a great beast, cowering in the shadows.
Is the Pigless gone? That guy dragged me along with him to help him find the Kyther. Most of the rest of our team was destroyed by nether mobs. It was horrible.
It's okay, I defeated the Pigless. You said he made you work for him. Do you have any idea where they may have taken the Kyther?
Tough to say. I think Pigless mentioned something about taking it back to the camp. He probably meant the one in the wasteland, back outside the Nether.
Perfect, so at least I know where to look next. Let's get out of here.
Wait, before you go, you deserve a reward for taking out that jerk Pigless. I was gonna use it myself, but here, it's a knockback enchantment. Your strikes will knock back your enemies now.
Oh, finally, some good luck. From days 54 to 57, I returned to my base and started making some adjustments. I added some guard towers so that we could spot any incoming threats faster. Just as I finished repairing and adding the knockback enchantment to my iron sword, the fire villager staying in the base approached me, looking very worried.
Zozo, I need a hand. I've been looking into it, and I've seen that a mutant zombie is skulking out in the forest outside. You should probably go take care of it while I'm working on an extremely important potion.
This would be the perfect opportunity to try my new knockback ability. I ran out into the forest, and just as the fire villager had told me, there was a mutant zombie making its way towards our base. I needed to put a stop to it. Come on, mutant zombie, you're no match for me. And I was right. With the knockback enchantment on my fire sword, I defeated it in no time and headed back to the base.
Great work, Zozo. And here's your reward. I made a potion of slow falling. When you take it, it eliminates fall damage. You never know when that'll come in handy.
On days 58 to 62, I continued work on the statue. I was really pleased with how it was coming along. Can you guess what it is yet? Suddenly, I heard the baboon yell out in panic from his treehouse.
Guys, something is coming towards us.
I looked out and saw a mob coming towards us. Creepers, courtesy of Lochnar the Necromancer. This is bad, this is really bad. But before we could do anything, the first wave of creepers had already hit. Several of them exploded, taking out huge chunks of the defensive wall, and others started crawling through the new gaps. I decided to rush in and finally get rid of the creeper menace. They started exploding again, taking out chunks of the base. By the time I managed to turn the tide of the fight, huge portions of our base had already been destroyed. When I had the advantage, the last surviving creeper ran off back into the forest. The fight was over. For now. We need to start rebuilding immediately. Blaze, fire villager, wait, where's Baboon? That's when we realized the creepers had blown up Baboon's treehouse with Baboon inside of it. From days 63 to 66, hungry for fiery vengeance, I followed the last remaining creeper back into the woods. You and your friends aren't going to get away with destroying Mr. Baboon. I chased him into the forest and saw him disappear down into an underground cavern. I was so angry, I didn't even think about how dangerous it could be to chase a creeper into an enclosed place. I hopped down into the cavern, but the creeper was nowhere to be seen. Instead, I found a book laying on the ground containing a secret note. Invade the base and destroy them all. Any survivors must return to the camp in the desert. G-O-A-W. G-O-A-W? Who's that? Wait, the camp in the desert. That's where they must be keeping the Kyther of Light. It was only then that I looked up and saw the creeper crawling quickly towards me. No time to think. On pure instinct, I pulled out my bow and fired. Boom! The creeper exploded, taking out a portion of the cavern. Lucky for me, thanks to the quick reflexes, I was out of the blast zone. From days 67 to 70, I traveled for 2 days all the way out to the desert. It was a really tough journey, but by the end, I finally saw the camp. It was a cabin surrounded by campfires, with a ghostly figure floating around it. It looked like the ghost of an ancient warrior. Lochnar the Necromancer must be able to raise skeletons, zombies, and ghosts. Wait, ghost of ancient warrior? That must be G-O-A-W, the one who wrote the note. He must be a pretty big deal. As I got close, I noticed there was a gorge in the desert just outside the camp. Better not fall in. I drew my bow and fired at the ghost, but predictably, the arrow went straight through him. That's when he threw through the air and lunged at me. He didn't even talk, he was all action. I managed to dodge and strike back with my sword, but he parried. This guy was a better fighter than anyone I'd ever faced. I didn't even know if I could defeat him. That's when I had an idea. If I'm not strong enough to beat him yet, I can still trick him. Before he could attack me again, I quickly drank my potion of slow falling. Then, when he attacked me again, I jumped back and fell into the gorge. To him, it looked like I fell to my doom, but thanks to the potion, I was just fine. When the ghost finally floated away, I climbed back up to the top. Kyther of Light, here I come. On days 71 to 74, I was finally able to make my way into the cabin being guarded by the ghost of the ancient warrior. Except, the Kyther wasn't there. The cabin was empty. All I heard was the echoing laughter of Lochnar the Necromancer. He was always a few steps ahead. Once again, it all been for nothing. I made the long trek back to my damaged base, empty-handed. On days 75 to 78, I came back to the base and noticed how damaged it really was. It was still heavily damaged from the creeper assault, and I needed to start the repairs immediately, so I did just that. I felt terrible knowing that now Mr. Baboon is gone. I didn't need to rebuild the treehouse. As I finished up the repairs, the fire villager approached me.
Hey Zozo, I just wanted to say I'm sorry you didn't find the Kyther, but I know you're strong enough to beat Lochnar anyway. I figured this might help.
That's when he handed me a diamond sword with fire aspect, the strongest weapon I'd ever had my hands on. Wow, thanks fire villager! It may not be the Kyther of Light, but it's the next best thing. And it turns out that the diamond sword couldn't have come at a better time, because suddenly, the ghost of the ancient warrior had returned, and he was flying at me. Guess it's time for a rematch. But this time, I didn't need any cheap tricks to take him down. Using my new diamond sword, I dodged his blows and struck him again and again, until he burst into ghost vapor and disappeared. I immediately started growing larger and larger, as well as doubling my hearts. But it wasn't just that. With my new size, I gained Godzilla strength, making all my close-range attacks 3 times as powerful. Just then, the fire villager ran up to me.
You did it, Zozo. You defeated the ghost of the ancient warrior. That's amazing. Wait, Zozo, I found this where the ghost vaporized.
It looks like a notebook. The latest note read, Lochnar is nearly at his full power. The final arrangements are being put into place. Destroy Zozo and the druid. Wait, the druid from the cabin? He's involved in this too? On days 79 to 84, I knocked on the door of the druid's cabin to find out how he was involved in all of this. Just like when I first met him, he wasn't eager to have me as a visitor.
Keep your distance, Fire Godzilla. You're even bigger than last time, and my house is very flammable.
I don't want to burn your house down, druid, but I know someone who does. I've seen instructions from Lochnar the Necromancer. He wants to destroy me and you. What does he have against you?
Ugh, Lochnar again? I thought I was done with that guy.
What do you mean?
I defeated him a few hundred years ago and sealed him away. I figured he'd stay gone for good, but I guess not.
Wait, does that mean you're the legendary hero?
I was, sure, but then I retired to become a druid. It's a much easier life. And besides, you should be fine. As long as you have the Kyther, he won't be that hard to defeat.
But he has the Kyther.
Oh, okay. This could be bad.
After our conversation, the druid led me back out into the forest to find another nether portal. He'd hid another weapon in the nether all those years ago as backup, if ever the Kyther fell into the wrong hands. But when we arrived at the side of the portal, it had already been destroyed.
This isn't good. If Lochnar destroyed the nether portal, it means he doesn't need it anymore. He's reaching the full height of his powers.
What do we do now?
Well, from where I'm standing, the only option is to...
An arrow shot out of the woods, hitting the druid and destroying him before he could even finish his sentence. No, this can't be happening! I turned to see a small gang of skeletons emerge out of the thicket behind us. As they ran at me, I made short work of them with my diamond fire sword. But now, I was out of options and out of time. There was only one thing left to do. I need to find the Swamp of Vileness and destroy Lochnar myself. On days 85 to 89, I made my way out to the snowy landscapes of the north, where I finally found the great beast I'd met back in the nether. As far as I could tell, he would be the only one who could tell me where to find the Swamp of Vileness and finally track down Lochnar the Necromancer himself.
I know where to find it, but it won't be easy. It's beyond the forest, but you can only go at night. And that's the thing. That creep is strongest at night. So if you're gonna take him on, you better be well defended.
That's a useful tip. Thanks, Great Beast. From days 90 to 94, I decided to take the Great Beast's advice and armor up. I used my iron pickaxe to mine some diamonds and turned them into a full set of diamond armor, helmet, chestplate, leggings, and boots. But I didn't want to stop there. I needed some enchantments to really make sure I could take a punch from Lochnar and his evil army of the undead. I gave myself the protection enchantment. That makes my armor twice as durable against close-range attacks, and projectile protection, which kept me safe from ranged attacks. Let's see Lochnar take me on now. From days 95 to 97, I finally finished the statue. Its flame could be seen from miles away and should keep all the bad mobs away from my base once and for all. It was a beacon of hope for all fire mobs, a bright, brilliant beacon that could be seen from miles away. And that's when I realized why I had to take on Lochnar and his undead minions. I could either use my fire powers to destroy, like when I accidentally burned down Mr. Baboon's tree, or I could use it to be a beacon of hope, to fight back against evil whenever I can, because it's the right thing to do. So it's exactly what I was going to do. On day 98, I spoke to the fire villager in Blaze about my plan to attack the Swamp of Vileness and finally take down Lochnar.
You can't do this alone, Zozo. You're strong, but Lochnar is so powerful, and he has an entire army.
He's right, Zozo. Why don't you let us come with you? Surely we'll be stronger together.
I can't put you at risk like that. You need to stay here as backup, in case Lochnar defeats me and his undead army escapes. But I can't let that happen. Trust me, no matter what, I'm going to defeat Lochnar and put an end to his evil reign of terror. With that, I exited the base, but was suddenly stopped by someone I haven't met before. Can I help you? He said nothing and dropped me a note and left. The note said, if you want to help me defeat Lochnar, you should subscribe to Zozo and check out our other adventures. You can even suggest what you want to see next down in the comments. Alright. I'm sure with the help of you guys, I'll actually manage to defeat Lochnar. On day 99, following the instructions of the Great Beast, I made my way to the Swamp of Vileness in the dead of night. It was every bit as creepy as I'd imagined. Mist hung low, the mossy skeletons, minions of Lochnar, were patrolling back and forth. I didn't have any more potions of invisibility. I needed to fight my way through. Okay, Skellies, come get me. I want to speak to your manager. That got their attention. Suddenly, waves of mossy skeletons started running at me, while others fired bows at me from a distance. Thankfully, with my enchanted diamond armor, I could deflect most of the damage, and my enchanted diamond sword could destroy them in one strike each. But that wasn't the problem. The mossy skeletons may have been weak, but every single time I defeated them, more just kept coming out of the fog. Don't you guys know when to quit?
They are the least of your worries, Zozo.
It was Lochnar. I could hear his voice, but I couldn't see him. It was like he was everywhere around me.
If you survive this onslaught, come a little further and meet me in my crypt. It'll be the last thing you ever do.
I wasn't going to let him get away with that. No matter how many skeletons he threw at me, I'd keep fighting to the very end. With my sword at the ready and my flames brighter than ever, I moved in towards the crypt of Lochnar. On day 100, I fought through the mossy skeletons and reached the crypt, which looked like a big, rickety pile of ancient stone. But there were stronger enemies waiting for me there. Mutant skeletons and mutant zombies came running at me, but my sword was ready. I hit them again and again, sending one after another down. But just like the mossy skeletons, more of them kept coming. I'm really starting to get sick of you guys. I unleashed a mighty fire Godzilla roar that could be heard across all of the Swamp of Vileness, and it knocked out all of the undead at once. It was just me in the crypt, so I pulled out my iron pickaxe and started destroying it, just to spite Lochnar. But just then, I fell down deeper into the crypt. Oh my gosh, there it is! That's the Kyther of Light! This is where he's been keeping it! I grabbed the Kyther. Now, I was ready to take on Lochnar.
I wouldn't be so confident, Zozo.
Boom! Lochnar appeared behind me, more powerful than he'd ever been before.
Do you really think you can beat this?
Lochnar began to grow as his power increased, becoming a huge, monstrous super necromancer. Like this, he really did look like he could take over the world. But I wasn't done yet. And do you really think you can beat this? I summoned up all of my power and channeled it. My flames got brighter as I grew, taking in the power of the Kyther of Light. I became Ultra Fire Godzilla with 30 hearts and almost unbreakable armor.
You can't do this. It isn't fair.
Life isn't fair, Lochnar. Let's go. Lochnar threw everything at me, hitting me again and again, but getting nothing. Now it's my turn. With one mighty swing of the Kyther, with all my power behind it, Lochnar was destroyed once and for all, never to raise another undead minion again. Safe at last, I returned to the base to celebrate with the Fire Villager and Blaze. Things were finally looking up for all of us. On day 1, I spawned in as Monkey D. Luffy, the rubber boy with a straw hat. Yo ho ho, I'm going to be the future king of the pirates. But it looks like I'm just a little kid for right now. At least my dreams are big. I gotta go find some good food to eat so I can grow up to be super strong. But there's nothing around this village but coconut trees. Whoa, a storm is rolling in. I better take cover. Is that a lightning bolt or a person?
Avast ye, Straw Hat Zozo. I be Captain O'Kilowatt, and you've had the misfortune of washing ashore of me island. Here you will be doomed to wander the many dangerous terrains in search of me greatest buried treasure. If ye succeed within 100 days, ye may keep what ye find. But if ye fail, ye will never be allowed to leave.
Buried treasure? Well, Monkey D. Luffy is a pirate, so that treasure is as good as found.
Ye had better hope that you find it, or ye will never voyage on the sea again.
Challenge accepted, you stormy scallywag.
Good luck, Zozo. You'll need it.
Captain O'Kilowatt laughed evilly and rained down lightning on the village, so I ran for cover. He attacked several houses and even wiped out the villagers. Talk about no mercy. I have no idea how big this island is, but I'm going to scour every block of it until I find that buried treasure. The dangers ahead are completely unknown, but I will face them with a bravery suited for the future king of the pirates. On day 2, I started to explore the nearby tropical forest. I have 6 hearts right now, so I need to stay in the least dangerous areas for right now. Who knows, maybe the buried treasure is in the easiest place to find it. That would be one crazy trick, wouldn't it? Oops, did I say this forest wasn't dangerous? What I meant to say was, it's filled with ghosts! Somehow, they kinda look familiar. Are you guys the ghosts of the villagers from back there?
Yes, we are. Why couldn't you have been hit by that lightning instead of us?
Just lucky, I guess?
Not for long, Zozo, because we ghosts are going to haunt you.
Oh no, I can't punch ghosts, and I don't have any weapons that can affect them. I gotta run to safety. Ah, get away from me! All of a sudden, I saw something swoop down from above. It picked me up and carried me away from the ghosts. When I got my bearings, I saw that I was at the top of a tall tree. There was a bird with a colorful beak in front of me. Were you the one who saved me?
Yes, sir. I'm Stan. Stan the Toucan. And whenever there's someone in trouble in this tropical forest, I come to the rescue.
That's cool, man. I'm Zozo. Want to join my pirate crew?
Sure can, man. Every great pirate needs a bird sidekick after all.
I'm looking for the buried treasure of Captain O'Kilowatt. Do you know anyone who can help?
I just might. Follow me.
On day 3, Stan the Toucan took me to a small workshop among the trees.
Wait until you meet my friend, Titus the Armorer. He makes all sorts of useful items.
Sweet! An armorer could be useful to have on my pirate crew. Yes. He could make me items and gear fit for a pirate king. I looked around and saw lots of really awesome armor. Did you make these all by yourself?
Sorta kinda, my good pirate. I do the crafting, but it takes brave adventurers like yourself to gather materials for me. I've had loot brought to me from all the terrain on this island, and I always take what I'm given and make it into something better.
Neat! I've accepted Captain O'Kilowatt's challenge, so I'll be visiting all of the terrains myself. What can you tell me about them?
Well, the main ones are the ancient ruins, the Cloud City, and the Misty Maze. Nobody who has looked for Captain O'Kilowatt's treasure has ever found it. But there's plenty of rare items I can make for you, if you bring me back stuff from each of them.
So, you're saying I should visit each of those 3 terrains in the next 97 days if I want to have a chance at winning?
Pretty much.
I set off for the terrains without a moment's delay. Luffy never passes up a chance to adventure. He also never travels without his crew, so I took Stan the Toucan with me. On days 4 to 5, I was still in the tropical forest, so I made sure to gather wood from the trees. Once I had enough, I made my first set of tools. The wooden pickaxe will serve me well in gathering stone, but I won't be needing them for long, because I'm gonna use that stone to craft myself a set of stone tools. Alright, time to build a base for the brand new Straw Hat Pirate crew. I laid a bunch of wood blocks for the foundation and made sure to give lots of space for all the new friends I'm going to recruit. I get the captain's quarters, of course, and Stan gets a birdhouse all to himself.
I too can. Believe this base is wonderful, Captain Zozo.
Oh, I get it. Toucan. Well, 2 can play that game, Stan.
Very funny. But leave the puns to me, won't ya?
Gotta put a kitchen in here, too. I may not have a chef on my crew yet, but I am starting to get really hungry. While I was placing down the chests, I saw a strange item fall out of a tree. Say, isn't that the gum-gum fruit? It is! Not only did it fill up my hunger bar, it also made me stretch out like a crazy rubber boy, and I grew to the size of regular Luffy. I've got 9 hearts now. With that much health, I'll be able to last much longer in a fight with mobs now. I'm that much closer to becoming the king of the pirates. Yo-ho-ho! On days 6 to 8, I was on my way to the ancient ruins when I saw a flock of giant penguins. How adorable! Except, they didn't seem friendly at all, because they were chasing someone down, and it looks like another human. And look, they're wearing an enormous chef's hat. Well, now I gotta help. I was so mad that I started smoking, and my skin turned red with anger. Now my fists are stronger than my sword. Looks like the gum-gum fruit I ate earlier gives my punches extra knockback, and I'm going to need it because these penguins totally outnumber me. I need to hit them quickly and then dodge. If they surround me, I'm dinner. With a gum-gum powered punch, I took down the biggest one and the others retreated. March back home, penguins. Don't mess with the future king of the pirates. You okay, chef?
Thanks to you, I am. But how did you know I was a chef?
Just a lucky guess, based on the fact that you are wearing this slightly oversized chef's hat and a chef's apron.
You got me. I am a chef, named Skylar. I'm going to the ancient ruins to find a spice that can really cook my cooking up another notch. Wanna come with? I could really use a bodyguard.
Sure, I'm headed there myself, looking for treasure.
Personally, I think food is the greatest treasure of all.
I like both treasure and food, for different reasons, of course. I can't eat gold. Or can I?
You really shouldn't try to eat gold. It's not food.
I'll take your word for it. You are the chef, after all. On days 9 to 10, I arrived at the ancient ruins, the first of the dangerous terrains that I must explore to complete the challenge. Before going any further, I decided to consult my loyal crew. So, Stan, Skylar, are you excited to explore the ruins?
You know it, Captain Zozo.
Excited? No. Eager to find the ingredients? Yes. Remember, this place is dangerous.
What are you so worried about?
It starts with that giant dinosaur right behind you.
I thought these guys went extinct years ago, but it seems like I might be the extinct one if I don't get out of here. Ouch! That bite took away a lot of hearts. If only I knew how to use all of my different gum powers. Skylar has a weapon, but even together we're no match for this dinosaur. We've got to run away and fight another day. My crew and I ran away from the ancient ruins. Captain O'Kilowatt wasn't kidding around when he said these terrains were dangerous. And this one was only the first one.
That was pretty brave back there, Zozo. Even if you didn't win.
My hunger meter was getting low again, so I decided to go back home and grab a bite to eat, which would be a lot easier now that I had a chef on my pirate crew. On days 11 to 12, I made sure that Skylar felt right at home as the head chef of the new Straw Hat crew. I built her a small house and made the food preparation area even bigger. To make sure we had plenty of ingredients, I also constructed an outdoor farm and a flower garden where we could grow plants and made pens where we could keep animals for meat. Of course, no pirate base would be complete without a flag to tell intruders who we are. The skull and crossbones mean business. Yarr! We'll be heading back to the ancient ruins in a few days. Anything else I should know about that place?
I heard that Captain O'Kilowatt has members of his own pirate crew guarding each of the terrains.
No way! He has a crew of his own?
Yes, and you are going to become a part of it if you fail the challenge. At least, that's what happened to all the other ones who tried it before.
He forces people to join his crew? That's terrible. I can't let that happen to me.
Just be careful, Zozo. The other pirates thought that way too, before he got them.
Don't worry about it. I'm not like those other pirates. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. I can talk big, but these former challengers would all be strong opponents. I had to get in gear to face them. I decided to train my battle skills by fighting some cave centipedes underground. I gave their legs to Titus the Craftsman, and he was able to make me a special suit of armor that could climb walls. That'll come in handy later. On days 13 to 15, I was in the tropical woods when I realized I needed a new way to train. Stan, what should I do in order to get stronger? I need to become powerful enough to take on the dinosaur in the ancient ruins.
Have you thought of going to one of the other dangerous terrains first? Maybe you'll be able to find something to help you there.
That's a good point.
Might I recommend the Cloud City? With your new climbing ability, you should be able to get up there through the mountains.
I'll leave right away. I set off for the highest point on the map, climbing the walls with my centipede leggings until I reached the top. At the top of the mountain, it started to snow and visibility decreased. But wow, this place is amazing! There was a bridge connecting the Cloud City to the top of the mountain. Who knew there were materials that could be used to build buildings on top of clouds? I'm definitely gonna have to take some of these special blocks back with me. I better grab them fast because I can hear something inside the city. It looks like I've got company. An ice gas is flying towards me.
So you must be Captain Zozo. I'm afraid you won't find any treasure here.
Are you a member of the O'Kilowatt crew?
Yes, I am Ghastly Gust, the keeper of Cloud City. My wind powers will blow you away.
I could feel Ghastly Gust attempt to launch me off of the mountain, but I didn't give in. This was a fight I had to win if I was going to complete the challenge. The Ghast had ice ball firing abilities, which trapped me in ice and slowed me down, while also hurting me. With my gum abilities, I was able to stretch upwards and reach the gas. This way with my punches, I pummeled Ghastly Gust. When I took him down, he dropped some sort of weird key. I wonder what this opens. During the fight, it seemed like I had achieved a new level of strength. I decided to return to the base and placed one of the cloud blocks on the ground. Nothing happened. Oh, this thing is broken. I want a refund. I started jumping on it, and I suddenly leveled up. Sure enough, I was faster, stronger, and could jump 2 blocks higher. Whoa, I've gone to 2nd gear. In this most powerful form, I have 21 hearts. The training was a success. On days 16 to 19, I went to explore the Misty Maze. Since I had defeated a member of Captain O'Kilowatt's crew at Cloud City, I figured I could do the same here. True to its name, the Misty Maze was easy to get lost in. There were also skeletons everywhere, which is never a good sign. Speaking of signs, I found a mysterious note inside of the treasure chest along with another key. The note said, "I have searched throughout every corner of the Misty Maze, and there is no trace of Captain O'Kilowatt's buried treasure. I did find this key though, so whoever finds this treasure chest might have a chance to use it." What were these keys? It looked just like the one the ghastly gust dropped. Suddenly, I was attacked by the skeletons. They must have been guarding this treasure chest for Captain O'Kilowatt. Take this! You can't stop 2nd gear. I found my way out of the maze with the key in hand. On days 20 to 22, I went to the beach on the edge of the island and fought some aggressive walruses. They weren't that tough now that I had gotten stronger, so I was able to gather their tusks as material. I mined some pearl blocks so I could trade it to the craftsman in exchange for a better helmet and boots.
Here you are, Zozo. New and improved armor for a pirate captain.
Thanks, Titus. With stronger defenses, I went back to the ancient ruins. I had the feeling that I could find a 3rd key there. The dinosaur last time was still roaming around, but I was geared up in more ways than one. I made short work of it. Wow, I really have gotten stronger.
But not strong enough.
Who are you?
I am Anubis, the true guardian of the ancient ruins. I've been sent by Captain O'Kilowatt to defeat you here and now.
He must really want to protect that buried treasure. Let me guess. It's here, in the ruins?
You wish. The treasure is in a place where you'll never reach.
Was the buried treasure not in any of the terrains I'd been to so far? Just then, Anubis was struck by a lightning bolt. It was Captain O'Kilowatt. But why did he attack his own crewmate?
You were a fool to give away clues so easily, Anubis. I have no room on my crew for fools.
I was tempted to fight him then and there, but I knew I wasn't strong enough. So I just grabbed the key he dropped and ran away. On the way out of the ruins, I grabbed some spice from the ground. Just what Skylar was looking for. On days 23 to 26, I returned to the base with all 3 keys and also the spice for Skylar.
Thanks, Zozo. Now I can complete my ultimate recipes.
Let me know if you make anything with meat in it.
You still have to catch some animals if you want a meal to happen.
Well, you're the boss, Skylar.
No, I am the chef. You're the boss.
I thought I was the captain. With the previous dangerous terrains unguarded, I could now gather materials from all of them. But first, I went into the cave to mine some iron ore so I could upgrade my stone tools to iron ones. That way I could mine even deeper. Just because I know there isn't treasure doesn't mean I shouldn't dig. I decided to go back to the ancient ruins where there are stone brick blocks. These are perfect for building a sturdier wall. And now, I was even able to build floating buildings just like in Cloud City. Borrowing some of the designs I saw in the Misty Maze, I created a series of secret passages that could be used to mislead any enemy pirates who tried to sneak into the base. Skylar came out of the house to give us a leash to help with the animals. I could use it for capturing animals, and I made sure to gather up some of the tastiest creatures I could find. I buffed up my defense by building a wall out of the strong blocks I had found. Even though the base was coming along great, I still wondered what to do with the 3 keys that I had gotten from fighting Captain O'Kilowatt's crew. I'd have to explore the island tomorrow and see if there was a way I could use them. On days 27 to 31, I traveled to a part of the island I had never been to before. It was a valley covered in smog. I wonder where it's all coming from. Even though it was hard to see, I could sense somebody sneaking up on me. Who's there? A pirate I had never seen before stepped out of the smog.
Oh no, I've been found! Forgive me, Captain.
It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. Probably. Who are you?
My name is Jovi the Ice Pirate. I'm a member of O'Kilowatt's crew, but I can't stand by and let him imprison other pirates anymore.
You should come back to base with me. It's much safer out there than hiding in this smoke cloud.
Okay, I'll bring my special materials as well. They can only be found in this valley.
Jovi went to mine some of the material, and I left the smog valley with him to return to the base. His special material, bronze dragon scales, were perfect for crafting an even stronger suit of armor. In the meantime, I added another tower to the base, and of course, more pirate flags. I also gave the outside of the wall a decorative wooden layer to make it look more like a pirate ship on land. Wow, that's perfect! Then Jovi came walking up to me and gave me a few samples of the bronze dragon scales. Now to go see Titus about that armor. I went to visit the craftsman and showed him the special materials. It seems like they brought back memories for him.
These materials come from an island, far away from here. They are from a suit of armor I made back when I was undertaking the challenge.
Wait, these are your materials?
Yes, and the armor I built using them was one of my best. It belonged to a very dear crewmate who is sadly no longer here.
I'm so sorry, Titus. Do you think we'd be able to rebuild the armor?
We have to go back to that valley. The rest of it could still be down there.
On days 32 to 35, Titus and I went to the Smog Valley and searched for the remaining pieces of the armor. The smog was so thick that it made it difficult to find anything, but it turned out that it was coming from some kind of huge factory. I noticed there was a door on the side of the factory with 3 keyholes. Those must be where the 3 keys go. Just then, we were ambushed by several giant trolls from the smog. There's so many, how can we stand a chance?
Captain Zozo, you must unlock the door. I'll hold them off.
But Titus, you're not strong enough.
Who do you think I am, Captain? I am the craftsman, and these are my crafts.
Just then, Titus equipped a really cool set of armor I'd never seen before.
Now go, find out what's in there.
I ran to the door and unlocked it, knowing that I may never see Titus again. His armor could survive the attacks of those giants, but not for long. Using the time Titus bought me, I put all 3 keys into the door and it began to open. Yes. Titus, come on! It's not too late! But it was. I turned and saw him fall to the ground after an extremely hard hit from the giants. Titus! I ran in and knocked down one of the giants, surprised at my own strength. But the next one hit me and took away most of my hearts.
Captain, I've done all I can. Equip my armor. It's the only way.
Okay. With Titus's enchanted armor, I fought back against the giants, fueled by the rage at what they did to my friend. When they were all defeated, the armor vanished into thin air. It was gone, and so was Titus. On days 36 to 39, I went through the large door that led to the factory. It was dark inside, but I soon found a light switch. I flipped it on and saw this place was up to something really sinister. Giants, like the ones outside, were being modified on a conveyor belt to become tricked out cyborgs. These must be Captain O'Kilowatt's secret weapons. What is he planning to use them for?
Beep boop, intruder alert.
Uh-oh, an evil robot. Time to show no mercy. I hit the mechanical menace hard, and he was launched back. Yes. I was ready to go for round 2 when the robot seemed to stop fighting.
Where am I? Where's the rest of my crew? Where's Titus?
You knew Titus, Mr. Robot Man?
Yes, we were members of the same pirate crew. I was captured here and turned into a cyborg.
No way! That's terrible! I wondered if O'Kilowatt would do the same to me and the rest of my friends if he captured me.
Captain O'Kilowatt's first mate did this to me with his powers. He's a man named Retro Gary who ate the Borgborg fruit. He has my real body. We have to get it back.
Don't worry, we will! For Titus.
Thank you!
It seems like I was able to snap Titus's old friend out of his cyborg mind control. Sometimes you gotta beat the mob inside to save yourself. On days 40 to 43, I built a memorial to Titus on the front of my base. Rest in peace, legendary craftsman.
You did everything you could, Zozo.
Thanks, Stan.
This base is the safest place on the island now. We should let some of the good people from Cloud City live here.
Good idea! I built some more floating dwellings inside the walls of the base. That way, the Cloud villagers could live the way they were used to. We went to the Cloud City to invite the friendly Cloud villagers to come live with us, and they agreed. There are so many people living at the base now, and all of them are counting on me to find the treasure. I can't let anybody down. I promise I'll become the king of the pirates.
I believe you can do it, Zozo.
Oh, hi, Jovi. How are you liking the base?
I'm really grateful for the fact you took me in. I also thought I should tell you where you can find more of those materials I brought with me.
You mean the pieces of Titus's armor?
Yeah, there's more of it at my old hideout near the Smog Valley. It's in a badland where Captain O'Kilowatt tests his lightning powers.
Sounds like I'll need to be careful, but it means getting the rest of those materials. I have to do it. For Titus! If I could complete that armor, I'd be able to face Captain O'Kilowatt and his secret weapons with my friend's ultimate work. I prepared for a journey to the Badlands. On days 44 to 49, I traveled to the Badlands. Lightning strikes had destroyed this place. There were no mobs anywhere, not even friendly ones. But there was Captain O'Kilowatt. He was practicing his lightning strikes just like Jovi said.
I see you there, Zozo. You're almost halfway out of days to complete my challenge. Are you sure you want to take me on now and cut it short?
I'm only here for the rest of Titus's armor, O'Kilowatt. I'll deal with you later.
Oh, how brave. But I'm afraid you have misunderstood whose armor it is. I am the one who controls the island, so everything on it is mine. I have already gotten those materials for myself, and I'm going to use them for my secret weapons.
You mean those cyborg giants?
Yes. In fact, I have a prototype for you to play with right now. Enjoy, Straw Hat Zozo.
Captain O'Kilowatt disappeared by summoning lightning on himself, and one of those giant cyborgs showed up, armed with special futuristic enchantments. I was not going to back down. The cyborg was big and had a huge reach, but I was quick and ran around to avoid its attacks. I launched a barrage of second-gear punches at the cyborg, toppling it over. Some secret weapon you are, you belong in the recycle. But even that wasn't enough. The giant cyborg started chasing me towards a rock wall. On days 50 to 53, I was backed into a corner. The giant cyborg was still attacking me in a canyon. I climbed up the wall with my centipede leggings and dropped down to strike from above. Gum Gum Battle Axe! That one looked like it did some real damage. I had to keep going while I had the advantage. The mob was really strong, but I managed to knock it out with some more punches. Man, that was just one of those secret weapons. If more were unleashed, I don't know how I could win. I need to go home and eat some good food. I couldn't worry about that now though, because the giant had dropped some of Titus's armor pieces. When I touched them, I could see Titus and his crewmates in the past. I could see them exploring all of the Misty Maze, Cloud City, and the ancient ruins. All of them are wearing powerful suits of armor. In the ancient ruins, Titus even knocked down a tree with only one swing. That's how strong he was. It seemed like they almost defeated Captain O'Kilowatt back in the day, but Retro Gary helped out and turned Titus's friend into a robot. He destroyed the armor, and using a slingshot, he scattered the pieces of it throughout the Badlands in the valley. I had no idea Titus had been holding on to so much sadness. I'll make sure to complete the challenge so that nobody will ever have to face a defeat like that here again. On days 54 to 57, I made my way back to the factory to see if I could learn any more from Titus's robot crewmate. When I arrived on the inside and flipped the switch, I saw that a bunch of the giants had broken the conveyor belt and started to run free. This is probably bad for Captain O'Kilowatt in the long run, but it's bad for me right now. Those giants seemed really angry.
Looks like you could use some help.
Thanks, Robo-Man.
A friend of Titus is a friend of mine.
Working together, we managed to defeat the ordinary giants. They dropped some kind of giant power-up too. I suddenly grew bigger and became Luffy, 3rd gear. Yo-ho-ho! It looked like I arrived at the factory just in time too, because the conveyor belt was filled with the rest of the armor shards.
I wore these once, when I was fully human. They belong to you now.
Thanks, Robo-Man. I promise to get your body back. When I finally made it back to the base, I went to Titus's chest and picked up the last armor pieces I needed. In the chest, I also found Titus's hammer. I went to the crafting table, and doing the best I could, I put the special armor back together. Somehow, it felt like Titus was watching over me, guiding me through the crafting process. I swung the hammer over the pieces on the crafting table, and the recipe was complete. I equipped the armor, and it looked like it would protect me really well. Almost a bit too much. The helmet provided so much protection, I could barely see out of it. Maybe for now I'll take the helmet off. I like being able to see where I'm going. Now that I had put on the restored suit of armor, I saw another vision of the past. Titus was digging into the ground at the tropical forest. What did this mean? Should I try to search for treasure there? On days 58 to 62, I stocked the animal pens and loaded up the farm with all the delicious ingredients I found while exploring. Onions, rutabaga, sweet berries, and beetroot. Now the meals for my crew would be the tastiest of all time. Skylar made a big meal for everyone at the base. We set up a large picnic table, and for once, things were peaceful around here.
Bon appetit. Enjoy your feast.
Oh boy, there's meat, veggie, all of the food groups. This is the best. After dinner, I decided to mine so that I could have powerful tools to match my new set of powerful armor. Since one of my moves is called Gum Gum Battle Axe, I figured along with the rest of the tools, I could craft a diamond battle axe to use for chopping wood and enemies alike. They'll never see this coming. I decided to have the inside of the base look like a pirate ship to match the outside, and lined all the inner walls with dark wood. I made sure to keep lots of chests around to fill with gold. Can't have a pirate base without any treasure of our own. When all of this is over, I'll have O'Kilowatt's treasure in here too. On days 63 to 66, I went back to the tropical forest with Stan to see if maybe we could find the spot where Titus had been digging in the flashback. I don't see anything that looks like that place. What about you, Stan?
Why are you asking me? I didn't see the flashback.
Oh, yeah, right.
You did say he was digging, so maybe you should try that hole over there.
This looks a little deeper than the… Whoa, I'm falling in! I tumbled down into the shaft, leading deep down below the ground. If I hadn't caught myself with my wall climbing, that might have been it. But look at this place. There's a huge, empty chamber lit by torchlight. That's weird. It feels like there should be something in here. I dug around on the floor and found an unusual sarcophagus hidden among the rocks. It flung itself open, and out came a mummy. Back off, you gift-wrapped meanie!
Thank you for setting me free. I've been trapped inside that box ever since my captain lost the silent challenge.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to attack me. Say, what was your captain's name?
His name was Captain Anubis. I was the most loyal member of his crew. Is he okay?
No, I'm sorry. But I'm putting together a crew to stand up to Captain O'Kilowatt. Do you want in?
Of course. I don't like that guy at all. Also, this place was supposed to be where his treasure was, but he only put me here.
Where do you think the rest of it is?
I don't know, but first things first, you've gotta help me get out of here.
Oh, we can just climb out. Oh, right. Only I can do that. On days 67 to 70, I used the diamond tools I crafted to dig a tunnel leading back above ground. I broke open some of the blocks, and a devourer jumped into our path. It growled and hissed. Please tell me you're friendly too. It definitely wasn't, because it tried to devour me. I guess that's where the name comes from.
If we don't defeat that devourer, we'll never get out of here.
Don't worry, Mummy. I'm your captain now, and I won't let anything bad happen to you. I meant those words too. All the other pirates who came to this island before me may have lost their way, but I made a vow that I'd keep everyone safe. That's how I'd become the king of the pirates, and no devourer would stop me. After I finished it off, the mummy and I continued our progress towards the surface. No other mobs showed up to attack us, so the rest of the journey was easy. Before I knew it, we were back near the top of the hole inside the tropical forest. Stan was waiting for us, and he seemed happy to see that I survived.
Great to see you, Captain Zozo. Well, who's that mummy guy with you?
I was once part of the crew of Anubis, but after seeing the bravery of Zozo, I've decided to join up with you guys.
Well, the more the merrier.
We all went back to the base together and had another delicious dinner to celebrate our crew getting even bigger. It was great to see so many people joining the team. I couldn't help but feel like we were all becoming one big happy family. On days 71 to 74, I was in the Badlands when I saw smog was everywhere again. I decided to take a look around. It's kinda hard to breathe in here, but this looks just like the smog in the valley where I found that factory. That must be important. But what's even more important is that you find more of my adventures by searching ZOZO in the YouTube search bar. I walked for a long time before I saw exactly what I expected. Another factory for making those cyborg giants. I might have stolen back the armor pieces, but it seemed like Captain O'Kilowatt still hadn't given up on his plan. And there he is. I'll have to take him on.
Foolish pirate! Have you forgotten that I train here? Taste me lightning!
He started hitting me with lightning bolts. The armor was helping me avoid the worst of it, but he was too fast for me to get a lot of hits in. I realized I was still too weak to beat him, so I hightailed it out of there. I'll have to return to that factory later, but until then, the Badlands are off limits. That terrain is too dangerous to take lightly. On days 75 to 78, I was back at my base and doing some more work on the interior, mostly by making the dining room bigger and more decorated. This is the place where everyone eats together, so it's gotta look nice. While I was thinking about all the friends that were already here to stay, I was surprised to get a visit from the robot.
Zozo, I've come to help you unlock the full power of the armor you are wearing.
This armor can become even more powerful?
Do you remember back when Titus wore his own special armor? How it made him way stronger than usual, while also granting him protection.
Yeah, I saw both of you use that armor power in the flashback too.
You can use it too. It was powered by the friendship between Titus and myself. That's our secret weapon.
But how do I do it? I became friends with Titus while he was alive, but now he's gone.
But I'm still here, Zozo, and I've come to give you what you are missing. I'm going to give you my friendship.
Right. We fought together at that factory. We're definitely friends now. I accepted his friendship, and the power of the armor began to awaken. At the same time, so did my own power. I grew again, becoming Luffy 4th gear. Now I have 45 hearts. I'm almost strong enough to defeat Captain O'Kilowatt now. I can feel it. On days 79 to 84, I decided to destroy the new factory with my 4th gear strength and supreme armor. For Titus, of course. And also because now, I actually could probably do it. There are a bunch of those cyborg giants, but they were incomplete without the armor pieces that now made up my armor. You're no match for the power of friendship. My crew gives me strength. It was amazing to see how much stronger that I had become. These giants that were once going to be an unstoppable army were now completely unable to beat me. I feel like I can unleash even more strength. Gum Gum Super Jump! I grew massively, so I jumped on top of the factory, breaking through the roof. There were more robots inside the factory too.
Look, he wears the captain's armor.
Were these guys part of Titus's crew as well?
Yes, we were captured and made into robotic servants by Retro Gary. Our real bodies are with him.
Wow, I really need to do something about him. It seems like he's inconvenienced just about everyone.
And how? Also, each of us kept a little bit more special material hidden away, in case the captain ever came back for it.
Excellent! I could use that to make some tools out of it. Goodbye, diamond tools. Hello, special material tools. Now I've got a full set of armor and everything made of a material that gets stronger with friendship. I might as well call this stuff Friend Metal. On days 85 to 89, I got back to base, only to find that there were mechanized mobs attacking. Could there have been more cyborgs? No way, I thought I got rid of them all. Don't worry everyone, the captain is here to help. These cyborgs were made from the Devourers rather than the Giants. It seems like Captain O'Kilowatt had branched out and started making minions out of other things. They started retreating, but I'm gonna follow them back to the source. You won't get away that easily. I ran as fast as I could until I bumped into someone. It was another human, and they appeared to be carrying a bow and arrow.
You can call me Sharpshooter. I came here from the Island of Snipers in search of buried treasure. I was challenged by a pirate captain who controlled lightning, that if I didn't—
Sorry to interrupt, but I'll need to stop you right there. I'm actually on that quest right now.
Oh, having any luck?
Luck? Not exactly, but I'm doing pretty well at this point.
Well, let me know how it goes if you manage to get the treasure.
Thanks? Personally, I think it has been more trouble than it's worth. The real treasure has been the friends I've made along the way. On days 90 to 94, I found that the cyborgs had gone back to a third factory. Man, how quickly can they build these things? This one was the biggest factory of all, and I could tell why. Because Retro Gary was right there, ready to fight with me.
Well, how do you do, Straw Hat Zozo? Your crew has become quite the source of trouble for my boss, so I'm gonna make sure that you're no longer a threat.
You can't beat me, Gary. I've got the power of friendship on my side.
Your power of friendship is no match for the power of my Borborg fruit. Cyborg Devourers, combine with me and go into Super Mecha Retro Gary mode.
Retro Gary combined with all of the minions to become one super powerful cyborg. This would be a tough fight for sure, but if I won, I'd be able to get all of Titus's crew's bodies back. I swung my special material axe at Retro Gary, and it seemed to do a little bit of damage. He can be hurt, which means that I can win. His attacks were really strong, but so was my armor. I stood my ground and continued to hit him over and over again. On days 95 to 97, Retro Gary still hadn't admitted defeat, but then again, neither had I.
Borborg Blaster!
Gum Gum Mallet! We traded attacks until I noticed some of the cyborg parts were starting to fall off of him. He was getting smaller with each attack. Soon he'd be back to normal, and that's when I could take him out.
Captain O'Kilowatt and I are going to create an army of invincible cyborgs created from the world's strongest pirates.
and both you and that armor are going to be our finest work yet.
Me? Become a cyborg? You're dreaming, Gary. But here's a better dream. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. And with one final punch, I smashed his robotic body into pieces. Before his power faded away, Gary laughed maniacally. Apparently, he had one more secret left to reveal.
Zozo, there is no treasure. It was just a story we came up with to lure pirates here to this island. The whole time, our plan was just to gather the raw material of our cyborg project. The other pirates were too weak, so they just became those low-level servants. If only I won against you, we'd finally have a perfect subject.
With that, his power reached 0. Could it be true? Was there really no treasure? Either way, I'd have to take down Captain O'Kilowatt to protect my friends, my crew, and the world from his evil plan. On day 98, I returned to the base and told everyone what happened. To my great delight, all the members of Titus's crew had gotten their bodies back when I defeated Retro Gary.
It seems our friendship with Titus was strong enough to grant you victory in this battle.
It's not over yet. I've still got O'Kilowatt to take care of.
We'll be right behind you.
I stopped by the house to visit Skylar, who had been preparing a welcome back meal for me ever since I left to go fight Gary.
Here you go, Captain. This has all of the best ingredients. It was made as a sign of my loyalty to this crew, and also our friendship.
Thank you, Skylar. I don't know where I'd be without you, and I'd definitely be going hungry. Just then, Jovi and the mummy approached.
It seems you made good use of all that special material.
It wasn't the material, Jovi. Captain Zozo's courage is what allowed him to defeat Retro Gary.
If I'm being honest, I think it was a little bit of both of you guys.
It was material.
No, it was courage.
Material.
Courage!
Okay, guys. I get it. Just stop fighting. I was so thankful to see that everybody was safe and sound after the cyborg attack on the base. Well, almost everybody. There was still one important friend that I had to go see. On day 99, I headed back towards the destroyed village where everything had begun almost 100 days ago. That was the place where Captain O'Kilowatt had challenged me, but now it would be the place that I would challenge him. But before that could happen, I remembered to walk through the tropical forest and say hello to Stan.
Hey, Zozo, it's your toucan man, Stan. It's hard to believe how much we've been through to get here.
You're telling me, friend, but treasure or no treasure, we're gonna see this through until the end.
Somehow I knew you'd be the pirate to save us all. I knew it from the moment you set foot on this island.
Stan and I walked together to the starting point and saw that Captain O'Kilowatt hadn't shown up alone.
Your time is almost up, Zozo. You may have defeated Gary, but I still have a few more giant cyborgs left. And once I juice them up with my full lightning power, they will be invincible.
Yeah, right.
That was Skylar's voice. She was here, and so was the rest of the crew.
We've got this, Captain. We'll take on the giants, while you settle things with Captain O'Kilowatt.
My crew sprung into action. I was so grateful and proud of all of them, but now I had to do my part. I was going to send Captain O'Kilowatt flying, once and for all. He flew away into the clouds. By grabbing onto Stan, the two of us flew upward into his last retreat. On day 100, I landed on the Cloud City Island and came face to face with Captain O'Kilowatt. You shouldn't have lied about the treasure, or turned people into cyborgs, or destroyed Anubis, or all the other evil things you did. You're a really bad captain, you know that?
Oh, spare me. We're pirates. We're supposed to be the bad guys. We steal things. We're selfish. And we don't let something like friendship stop us from reaching our goals.
That's where you're wrong, O'Kilowatt. I won't even call you a captain anymore. You're just the guy I need to beat before I become the king of the pirates.
King of the pirates? Ha! Keep dreaming.
I will. I'll never stop dreaming. I'll never give up. And I'll never let you hurt anyone else. We charged at each other and began our greatest battle yet. His lightning bolts were as potent as ever, but with my courage to guide me, I pushed through. I channeled my inner anger and suddenly grew in size. Then I landed a 4-gear punch on him. He looked like that really hurt. Guess he wasn't as tough as I thought. He was just really good at dodging. He was at the edge of the cloud, and I punched him super hard, sending him flying to another smaller cloud. I used my Gum Gum super jump ability to get to him. One more attack like that, and you're done.
You'll never hit me again. I'm going to destroy this cloud with me lightning powers. Feel the storm.
Sure enough, the clouds began to fall away beneath me. You can't make me fall. Too bad I had nowhere else to jump. This left me as an open target, and O'Kilowatt launched everything he had at me.
This be the end, Zozo.
No, it's the beginning of my dinner. I pulled out Skylar's welcome back meal and ate it. My health and hunger were instantly restored. Yummy!
What?
Good food from a good friend can weather any storm.
You still can't hit me.
Over here, Zappy!
Stan flapped around near the bad guy's head. That was the only chance I needed. I jumped off my platform and smacked him in the face. Bye-bye, Gum Gum Fist! That did it! O'Kilowatt was sent flying into the distance, never to be seen again. As I fell back towards the ground, I smiled, because I knew there was no way this was the end. My entire crew set out a trampoline made of cloud blocks to catch me. I landed safely among all my friends. They were the real treasure, one that could never be buried. And as Pirate King, I treasure them always.